Okay, so I haven't really been keeping on top of Ethan Klein, honestly, just because it's getting boring. Like, his show has just turned into a Hassan Snark hour 3 times a week, 3.5, I guess, if you count the private show, like the members only show. Anyway, it's extremely boring, and now we're talking about this CPS situation. So Child Protective Services were apparently called onto his house because he told a story, obviously embellished for comedic effect, about how his kids were crawling around eating his dog's shit. So it's like, it's a completely ridiculous thing. It's completely in line with what we've come to expect in terms of Ethan Klein's alleged humor. Like, he would call that humor. And I guess someone, I don't know for sure, but Ethan seems to think someone took that clip and then called Child Protective Services on it, which is just so funny. Like, this guy says that he made the decision to make his life as transparent as possible, put everything out on the internet. And he's telling stories about abuse to his children that is enough to get CPS to warrant an investigation into his house to make sure that his kids aren't living in filth. And then he's surprised. It's like surprise Pikachu face. So I just really quick, just to get a little bit of perspective on this, let's take a look at what CPS in California is. So this is the ACLU, California Child Welfare Investigations 101. Anytime you're involved with Child Protective Services or the child welfare system, it could have big effects on your family that last a long time. This is definitely true. Like, the one thing that I can't fault Ethan on is saying that this is really traumatic to my family. When you are investigated as parents, or if you're a kid and your parents are getting investigated, even if they did nothing wrong, that's going to make you examine your life in a bit of a different light. It's going to make you think that maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I'm not doing everything that is required of me to be a good parent. It's like, anytime that you are even in line with any kind of like legal system where people just have institutional power over you, that's going to make you re-examine your security and your place in the system that you exist in more. It's going to make you like really look at yourself in a different perspective. So anytime you're involved with CPS or the child welfare system, it could have big effects on your family that last a long time. But as a parent, you do have rights. It is important to know what these rights are and use them to protect your family. Below is information on how a CPS investigation works and your rights during the investigation. So like, I think that this is important to put into perspective, because if it really was just like a prank call and, as Ethan says, a snarker, why would they be doing an actual investigation? Like, the child report was substantial enough to warrant an investigation. So even though it is like another form of harassment, it's a more verified form of harassment than like the police just breaking down your door and swatting someone. And the other thing that I have to say is, why would you bring this to the internet? Why? Like, Ethan Klein should know. The last thing you want to do when you're talking about being harassed in real life off of something that you think is from what you've done on your show, he should know that you never bring it up to the internet, because that only exacerbates the problem. That only encourages people to further harass you. And yeah, I don't think it's like a great thing for people to be harassing the Kleins in their personal lives. I think that if you're like a politician, of course, you should be harassed because you've literally funded a genocide. The Kleins haven't done anything close to that. So I don't think it's a great thing for them to be harassed, but still, don't bring up examples of your harassment. Don't talk about all of the death threats that you're receiving. That's like the first rule on the internet. Anyway, depending on which... Okay, so CPS's agency's main job is to investigate reports of child abuse and neglect to decide whether a child should be removed from their home. Like, so Ethan's going to be making a lot of arguments here. He's going to be saying that, oh, well, these snarkers that call CPS, they're really taking away resources from an important institution, and they're gumming up the works. That's not true. If it was a report that CPS deemed unnecessary to investigate, they wouldn't be wasting resources on it. So the thing that Ethan doesn't really want to reckon with is that there was enough in that report that it wasn't immediately thrown out. There was enough in the report, it was substantiated enough that CPS deemed it worthy to get involved and actually investigate it. CPS does not provide supportive services to families without the risk of child removal. CPS also works closely with other agencies like law enforcement. Depending on which county you live in, CPS can be called something different. So then examples there. How do CPS investigations work? A report to CPS is substantiated. CPS makes a finding that the allegation of child abuse or neglect is most likely true. So this is like the phase that they're in right now. They're substantiating the report. They're doing the investigation. And then, yeah, I don't think it's going to get any further than this, simply because I think the clients are like rich enough that they're not going to deem it necessary to remove the kids. Do I have the right to ask? And then this is the other thing. Ethan's like making vague threats that he's going to find the identity of the person who filed the report. Do I have the right to ask a CPS worker for more information if they come to visit my house? Yes, if a CPS investigator comes to your home, you have the right to request identification. You also have the right to know the specific allegations made against you. Exercising your right to know the allegations does not mean you have to let the investigator into your home. Do I have a right to know who made a CPS report against me and what was said? No, the identity of the person who reports suspected child abuse or neglect, even if known by CPS, cannot be disclosed to the family or anyone else not directly involved in the CPS investigation. Like, I do find it hilarious that Ethan says it was an anonymous tip, like it was an anonymous report. It's like, no, dude, even if it was anonymous to CPS, which it most likely wasn't, they just told you it was anonymous. Why would they tell you the person who reported abuse? Like, why would they tell you someone with a massive platform online, someone who's extremely wealthy? Why would they tell you who's like reporting your alleged abuse to your kids? Do I have to let CPS workers into my home if they come to visit? Generally, no, you do not have to let a CPS worker enter your home. And then this is like a lot of odds and ends, which once again, I don't think it's ever going to get to this point. When can a child be removed from their home? Like, obviously, Ethan Klein is just joking, but it's so funny that he spends the last 6 months or however long railing against Hassan and saying that Hassan's words have consequences online. And then when he makes a joke, which according to CPS warrants an investigation of child abuse, he has like the surprised Pikachu face on. It's like, dude, you make jokes all the fucking time and now you're acting like you don't understand that your words have consequences online. What is this? Did we ever see proof that CPS was called? Are we just supposed to take the word of somebody who continuously lies? Yeah, that's the other thing. It's like, do I think Ethan's lying about this? No. But do I think he's embellishing things? Yeah, of course he does. He embellishes things all the time, and he intersperses embellishments because he's a comedian, right? He intersperses embellishments in with the truth. Like, the example I'll always come back to is when he was talking about Comrade Casey and how Comrade Casey was sending like dick pics to one of his producers. Like, he's like, oh yeah, he's such a crazy guy. He sends you dick pics. It's like, what? He does? And then Comrade Casey shows up in my chat and is like, no, I've never done that. That's supposed to be a joke. It's like, he's interspersing lies in with serious things. So it's hard. Like, he's kind of like the guy that cried wolf, and he wants to be on both sides of the line. He wants to be taken seriously as like a political commentator and hold people like Hassan and Denims and any other Muslim coded content creators to account. But then he also wants to be able to make jokes about raping people or make jokes about how Jews actually are like entirely representative of Israel. Isn't there a new law under the jurisdiction of California that the anonymity gate has been removed? I don't know. That's a good question. Let's look it up. CPS reporting anonymous California. That'd be kind of crazy if you can't report abuse anonymously, or at least like your identity is protected. Individuals who report child abuse in good faith are protected by law from civil or criminal liability. All reporter, except those mandated by law, may remain anonymous. However, it is helpful to provide your name and telephone number in the event that more information needs to be obtained. Okay, like, that's fair. So I guess it's in good faith are protected by law from civil and criminal liability. More states seek, let's check this out. More states seek to curb anonymous CPS reports against parents. It's been a long problem. People call child abuse hotlines with false reports as a way to harass parents without identifying themselves. A vindictive spouse, spiteful neighbor, even a scheming landlord, the calls must be screened and triaged. When serious-sounding allegations are made, a social worker must be dispatched to investigate. But beginning next year, in the states running the nation's largest child welfare systems, California and Texas, these anonymous callers must now be asked to identify themselves. A California law requiring this was signed by Governor Gavin Newsom last month and takes effect in January. So I guess that this law did work. They don't have a link to the law, though. That's kind of annoying. But wait, is this it? False reports waste time and resources that could be spent on actual cases of child abuse, and they compound the suffering of families that are already struggling. Los Angeles Democratic Assembly Manager Reggie Jones Sawyer wrote in support of his successful legislation, Assembly Bill 391. So we can take a look at this. Both Texas and California are switching to a system of confidential reporting, which requires CPS screeners to ask all callers for information such as their name and phone number. These agencies, in turn, will keep the caller's identity confidential. So he's wrong then. It wasn't anonymous because they literally passed a law in California. Yeah, you're right. You're right, Shushunk. There's literally a law in California requiring people to not be anonymous, but in return, they're going to keep their identity confidential. The California bill had no formal opposition, but LA County child welfare officials defended anonymous reporting as essential to child safety. Like, this is definitely true. Like, maybe it doesn't need to be anonymous to the agency, but it definitely needs to be anonymous to the people they're reporting against, because otherwise why would you ever, like, if you could have personal retribution be brought back upon yourself, that would greatly diminish the amount of people reporting child abuse. And in an April legislative hearing, Republican Assembly Maker Tom Lackey said, that's a great name for a Republican, said AB 391 could have unintended consequences. Stronger investigative practices need to be the focus, not removing confidentiality, Lackey said. What it will do is discourage the reporting of legitimate concerns. Wow, something reasonable from a Republican. Stress on families. I mean, as long as there's a good confidentiality system in place so that the identity of the reporter doesn't get out, I think it's fine to ask for more information from the people making the report. So what is this? Is amended to read, reports of a known or reasonably suspected child abuse or neglect pursuant to section blah, 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 shall include the name, business address, and telephone number of the mandated reporter. So that's if you're a mandated reporter, which is different from like a whistleblower. The capacity that makes the person a mandated reporter. If a report is made, the following information, if known, shall be included in the report. What if you're not a mandated reporter? The identity of all persons who report under this article shall be confidential and disclosed only among agencies receiving or investigating mandated reports. And like, this is another reason why what Elon Musk and Doge is doing is so harmful, where they're just getting access to all of this stuff. Like, if you're wealthy enough, do you really think Doge is a strong enough firewall to stop powerful people in this country from like gaining access to maybe the agents who are investigating them in the FBI or in the IRS or the CPS agents that were investigating them, or like the whistleblowers who reported abuse? It's like, this is like, it's really important that we have a self-contained government that doesn't leak information like this. An agency specified in section 11165.9 receiving a report of known or reasonably suspected child abuse or neglect pursuant to subdivision G of section 11166 shall ask the reporter to provide all of the following information in the report: their name, their telephone number, the information that gave rise to the knowledge or reasonable suspicion of child abuse or neglect, the source or sources of the information that gave rise. If the reporter refuses to provide their name or telephone number, the agency shall make efforts to determine the basis for that refusal and advise the reporter that the identifying information will remain confidential. So like, it's literally not an anonymous report. There was another example of him embellishing lies where obviously, like, he asked the investigator, oh, who reported me? The investigator's like, I can't tell you. And then he just says that it's an anonymous report. There's like, literally in 2023, there was a fucking law that passed saying it can't be anonymous. This is insane. Thanks for pointing that out. I did not realize that like they had just passed a law. Anyway, so just here's the clip that I think was reported. Let's just watch this really quick. I love it that it's like, I mean, it's so obvious that he's joking, but once again, he made an entire like 2-hour long video about Hassan, taking Hassan's jokes and his jabs at fascists out of context and trying to say that Hassan is anti-Semitic. So it's like, now your words have consequences for you outside of the internet, which is what you've been trying to get happen to Hassan for the last 6 months, and now you're surprised.
One part of it. The next part is...
What's the next?
That Olive has Giardia, which is it's a bacteria.
What the other prescribed. Okay, that's good.
No, Ethan.
Shut the fuck up, Doolittle.
H3 is being a little bitch again.
Oh,
So that's only one part of it. The next part is...
what's the next?
That Olive has Giardia, which is it's a bacterial infection in the intestines that makes you have diarrhea.
And Olive has this?
Olive has this. Yeah, she came to us with it.
Okay.
She had diarrhea, and
Oh, poor baby.
Ducky came to us with that too. And I just wonder why.
It's relatively common.
It should be. They should have found it already. But anyway, so she has Giardia, so we have her on an antibiotic, but we had to wait until Monday, which is today. We just got it today, and well. Sonny's crawling around. He's putting everything in his mouth. He's at that age. He has Giardia.
Oh, shit.
Oh,
And now Ela has Giardia.
shut. For real?
And now I think this morning I had diarrhea.
Oh my god.
What can I do to not get it from
Yeah,
you?
I'm trying
Yeah,
to...
what?
Because I'm not trying to get
Can
No,
we crank the
it's-
AC, maybe?
Is it?
It's extremely ridiculous to get. You have to ingest my poop. Are you planning on that?
Never.
Not really.
So then you're fine.
But
So
unfortunately...
the problem is...
you just told us that your poop is flowing out of your mouth. It's like
Yeah,
in the
literally.
air, bro.
That's not what I said. That's literally... That's what
admitted
you
had
said.
caca breath.
No, that's what you said I said. Well, anyway, so let me continue, please.
Okay, I'm sorry.
So because,
Keep
you know, it can go on surfaces and stuff. So, you know, Olive chews everywhere. She's there. So, you know, Sonny, it makes sense why he got it. Then once he starts having these crazy diarrheas, like in the middle of the night, all day, all the time he's having these crazy diarrheas, then when me and Ela start having to get in there and changing his diaper, obviously you put him down, you wash your hands as best you can, but these are really nasty diarrheas.
And they put their hands into the poop.
So I haven't been diagnosed with it. Neither has Ela. Sonny went to the doctor today to get a poop evaluation, but I'm pretty sure he has it because the symptoms is like frequent and then extremely foul-smelling diarrheas. And the first night...
Anyway, that's what he says. Like, obviously, he doesn't know that his kids have Giardia. I don't even know if he knows his dog has Giardia. And he's just saying that because he has diarrhea. Like, dude, Ethan's such a fucking gross guy. Why is he talking? Like, oh my God. Have some separation between your family. Like, listen, when it comes to yourself, that's fine. But when you're talking about your kids, it's like, have some kind of discretion in what you're talking about on your show that has millions of subscribers. Oh my God. Okay. Anyway, so there's that, and I thought this was funny. Yeah, this is so funny. Like, this is a post from Gila Klein's Instagram that Bad Empanada was talking about. They called CPS to our house yesterday, and they are now performing an investigation. If you know a reporter that is willing to cover this topic, then like reach out. Which I just think is funny. It's like, why would a reporter care about you being investigated by CPS? Just deal with it yourself. And like, it's just so emblematic of it's really emblematic of their hypocrisy, right? They criticize Hassan, they criticize reporters that are doing stories on Hassan, and they're trying to get like him taken off the internet because of his words. They're trying to have him have real life consequences because of his words. Like, they're encouraging Congressman Richie Torres to personally like reach out and try to get Hassan banned. But then when they talk about Israel and how like Israel's so cool and Yoav Gallant is a good guy and there's actually no ethno-state in Israel, there's no apartheid in Israel. And then when they say that, yeah, my kids have been like walking around and they've got the sickness that our dog had, and the only way you can get this sickness is by eating poop, which once again, we don't even know if that's why CPS went out to their house. Like, it could have been because of their maid for all we know. And then they all of a sudden want like reporters to come out and get on their side when they're criticizing reporters from like covering the negative consequences of what they're doing. They're criticizing reporters for showing Hassan in a good light. They're criticizing reporters for talking about the mod that runs like the Fouama Reddit and how much harassment they've been experiencing. And they're like, why would the reporters talk about that but not talk about us? It's just really entitled. I think that's the worst part of it. Anyway, I'm going to watch. This was so crazy. I haven't seen a lot of these, but it's so fucking stupid. It's so stupid. Look, Hassan, I got banned on Twitch for showing Hassan's content, which ironically, my video got taken down for spreading hate speech because of what Ethan said. So it's like, okay, we've been there too. Snark called a child. They have such a massive victim complex. And this might be one of the reasons that they become Republican down the road. Right now, they're just like anti-progressive liberal. They're in the Hakeem Jeffries section of Democrats where they just hate liberals, and they're basically Republicans, but they're Democrats still. But they're in the part of the Democratic Party which is basically Republicans. Like, they hate populism. They hate progressives. They hate leftists with a passion.
Hello, everybody. This is Ethan Klein, host of the H3 show. It's Friday, March 7th.
I listened to like 10 minutes of this and I was just like, what the hell is going on in this show? And then I shut it off. It's just so miserable to listen to.
2025. Hila's here. And hello. Special guest.
Stunning, beautiful.
You know, we have a special guest today. His name is Abstaban.
Oh, Ab.
Oh my
Pull up
God.
the soul patch and mustache combo.
I think you're muted.
Very caliente.
Thank you. Yeah, I need to grow it out more. I don't grow that much. Take like
Wow, what a drink.
This morning, listen, in our long career of being influencers in the public sphere, we've been swatted several times. People say, hey, I killed my wife and kids and I'm in the closet and I'm gonna kill myself.
And I put bombs around the house.
It's usually something like that, and then the helicopters come, fire trucks come, police come. I remember it happened where they went around the perimeter of our house and Shredder got out. It was so scary. That part was so scary. We weren't there at the time. We've also had the FBI come to our.
I mean, it's so obvious. Like, this show, watching this show has become increasingly obvious that whenever he talks about Hassan, whenever he talks about Snark, whenever he talks about like Israel or Palestine, he is so anxious because his tics get way worse, and he just starts like he just starts fidgeting way more and he's sniffling way more, and it's like, I know that it's a physical disability, but it's also a manifestation of his stress. And this is just not healthy, man. Like, once again, I don't think it's productive. I know that he's trying to get these Reddit snarks taken down, and these Reddits that post clips of him and criticize, once again, they criticize what he does on his show. They're not harassing him. They're not finding him out in public with his kids and be like, wow, like, look at the way Ethan made a sandwich for his child today. Like, it was just one greasy sandwich in a paper bag. He didn't even pack an apple or any kind of vegetables. They're not doing that. They're criticizing what he's putting out publicly. And I know that he's trying to get them taken down, But if you didn't pay attention to them and you didn't encourage your subreddit to pay attention to them, like his subreddit is 100% looking at the snark subreddit and like posting posts from the snark subreddit and being like, look at how crazy and unhinged these are. It's like you wouldn't have to worry about it if you didn't allow that in your subreddit. Like I just don't. All of this is an issue of Ethan's own making. If he stopped caring about it, if he stopped caring about it and he stopped caring about the people that are saying, oh, you're not pro-Palestine enough, and he stopped caring about what the snarkers are saying about him, he would be so much happier. He would not have to deal with any of this shit. And once again, if you're like, this isn't victim blaming, but it's just an example of how the culture on YouTube can really be degraded by people like this. When Ethan Klein talks about how much harassment he's experienced because he's getting swatted, how much harassment he's experienced by people calling CPS on him, you are contributing to a culture of harassment on YouTube. Like, once again, Ethan Klein himself is a giant harasser on YouTube. His entire channel, his entire subreddit has been dedicated to harassing Hassan and just people that have mild criticisms toward Ethan. So he contributes to harassment that way. And then also when you bring attention to harassing like swatting and death threats that you experience and people criticizing you on Reddit, that encourages people to do more of that. And you're just exacerbating the culture of harassment. It's like, just let it go, dude. You don't need to have your show focused on this. But the issue is, this is what his entire show is. His show has always been trying to find drama online and then flaring that drama up. So he doesn't really know what else to have his show become.
House actually at this point several times, one of them being to tell us not to open any packages until
further notice.
Until further notice. Yeah, those were all, I'm pretty sure, from more like on the right side of anti-Semitism, Nazi adjacent types of shit. And we knew that because one of the guys who doxed us, I was getting letters from the Department of Justice for like an entire year. Sure, from more like on the right side of anti-Semitism, Nazi adjacent types.
It pains him so much to say that it was conservatives and Nazis that were sending him death threats and swatting him. It pains him so much to say that, man. But I bet you anything he'll say that it's a leftist, communist, pro-Palestinian advocate that called CPS on his house.
And we knew that because one of the guys who doxed us, I was getting letters from the Department of Justice for like an entire year updating me on this guy's case.
Yeah.
Who's a member of what's happening?
He's fixing my camera, I think.
Oh, okay. I forget what he was part of, some neo-Nazi gang that was actually responsible for like assassinating people for real. Yeah.
Yeah, I forget the name, but it was like a real.
Yeah, there's
a name and a face.
So that's what we've been through. Although I'll say this morning, we after all these years, still getting new experiences. This morning we got a visit from Child Protective Services because I told this story on the show a few weeks ago about how when we adopted Olive, she had giardia, and then the next day, Sonny started having diarrhea, so we suspected he might have giardia. Seeing as that he's an infant, he's crawling around, he's putting everything in his mouth, etc. Makes sense, right? It's obvious. So it turned into this whole snark narrative that our house is a mess, that there's dog shit everywhere, that Sonny is eating shit and getting giardia.
Bro, I just have to say, like, I go on to his subreddit, and then sometimes I go on to the snark subreddit. I've never seen anyone talking about how his house is a mess and it's because of the giardia. I don't know, is that a thing? Let's check it out. Let's check it out right now. Oh, it's become this narrative. Okay, let's go. H3. Let's just go to the actual snark. And I'll just search it. So this was 9 months ago. Today, Ethan talks about his dog having intestinal parasites. Could it be from them consuming feces? What? Sam is a yassified cockroach. Go bestie. This was a set in studio. I thought it was their house. Ethan talks. Ethan really seems like he wants to push AB down a flight of stairs. What the fuck? Wait, I'm kind of curious. What is this?
He got Ducky. He was having like diarrhea and he was puking his food out and stuff. And he was like so hungry. It was kind of scary. And I was like, dude, what's up with this? He's like, he's eating too much. He's overeating.
Yeah.
I was like, man, fuck that. Like, took him to the vet, and he had some kind of like parasitic worm. And then I was like, hey, dude, just so you know, all of your other dogs probably have this too, idiot.
And I was like, I'm gonna change him in the room anyway. And then Teddy tells us, oh, he's pooping. And he said, no, don't be joking. Like,
Is their kid named Teddy? Did they actually name their kid after their clothing company?
no way. It was just standing and just pooped and peed on the floor.
Peed all over the couch.
And the couch.
Oh no!
And
it got under the couch.
And then guess who comes running in?
Oh no!
Ducky.
It was Ducky.
It was
no, Ducky this time. No.
He started eating the poop. Oh my
God.
And as we're celebrating, Alfredo
Oh no. Oh no.
swoops in and eats a whole human shit of Theodore's. This size. Show me.
What?
Like a whole human shit size. And he's going back for seconds. And Ela has to wrestle out the second nug out of his mouth. He destroyed it. He bodied the whole nug. And then Theodore notices and he starts bawling. He goes, Alfredo ate my poop. Alfredo ate my poop. And
He was crying?
Yeah, because it freaked him out. He's like, Alfredo ate my poop. He's like, where's my poop?
What? The dog ate the kid's poo? What? Okay. This is... that just disgusted me even more. What the fuck? Holy shit. That was actually pretty funny. H3 Snark 2025. Oh my god, they're multiplying. Did the other H3 productions get banned? The underscore one? It's like the H3 productions. Maybe it did. Maybe it got banned. Who knows? Wait, let me look this up. H3. It's only the main one. What's this? Is this it? Oh, it's a private community now? Ah, okay. Well, anyway, I guess we can't find evidence that it became a narrative. Like, look, there's this. This was posted 9 months ago, and on the H3 Snark, there's nothing else. What was his dog's name? Olive. Now it's r/leftovers H3. Yeah, I like, there's literally no narrative, at least on this Snark. And the other one, maybe, but it's gone now, so we can't see. But this was the main one that Ethan was talking about. This was the main one that he was targeting and trying to get taken down. So, can we really say that there's like this narrative of Ethan Klein spreading Giardia to his kids when there's literally nothing on the Snark?
Et cetera, et cetera. And, well, it culminated in somebody finally...
Yeah, if you have kids or dogs, your house is definitely going to be gross. I think it's gone private. They moved to Leftovers H3. Now it's r/leftovers. Definitely Ethan's fetish. It had a hostile mod takeover and it's privated now. It got brigaded from who? Like, it got brigaded by the H3 Productions? Like, the actual Ethan's actual subreddit brigaded it? Anyway. Yeah, like, obviously it's going to be gross. Well, let's just, like, listen, you can't fault the person for saying a gross story on their podcast, especially if you have like 3 gross stories over a year of, like, if it's like multiple years of podcasting and the people have compiled like 3 gross stories where it makes your house sound nasty, I don't think that's enough to like warrant an actual CPS investigation. Like, if CPS got a call and they're like, oh, this one podcaster said on air that his dog ate his little kid's shit, you should go investigate. Like, I don't know if that would be enough for CPS to investigate. Even if someone called and said that this one kid got sick because a dog was sick and it was like shitting everywhere. Once again, I don't think that would be enough for CPS to investigate that claim. But yeah, I really don't think so. Like, that seems so threadbare.
An anonymous call went into them on the 3rd saying that they were somebody that works at the house, and they wanted to report us because our kids are crawling around eating dog shit and getting viruses. And they were able to provide enough details because of what I said on the show to make it appear that it was somebody. He said, like, when he first showed up, he's like, it's somebody that you know who made the report. And I'm like, no, okay. So I mean, they used. I mean, yeah, you could easily impersonate.
Wait, what is he saying?
And
I do like how he gets into this. I do like how he gets into this with no preamble whatsoever. He's like, all right, guys, we're here. Anyway, so my house got CPS called on it.
We after all these years, still getting new experiences. This morning we got a visit from Child Protective Services because I told this story on the show.
I mean, you can request to see what was in the report. Like, we read that on the ACLU page. You can request to see what was in it. For more information, you'll have the right to know the specific allegations made against you. But let's see if he actually says that, like, we asked what the allegations were and they said this. Or if he just makes it up.
Weeks ago about how when we adopted.
Oh my God, me outs. That's actually hilarious because you're so right that sure does look like it was used to clean out a toilet bowl at a Denny's.
Did Olive? She had giardia, and then the next day, Sonny started having diarrhea, so we suspected he might have giardia. Seeing as that he's an infant, he's crawling around, he's putting everything in his mouth, etc. Makes sense, right? It's obvious. So it turned into this whole snark narrative that our house is a mess, that there's dog shit everywhere, that Sonny is eating shit and getting giardia, and that, you know, et cetera, et cetera. And well, it culminated in somebody finally, an anonymous call went into them on the 3rd saying that they were somebody that works at the house, and they wanted to report us because our kids are crawling around eating dog shit and getting viruses. And they were able to provide enough details because of what I said on the show to make it appear that.
So I guess that is what made the CPS come out, because he's saying it like he's making it sound like it came directly from the mouth of the investigator. Someone worked at your house, which is weird. I don't think they would actually say that it was someone that worked at your house. Maybe he's just making that up. Once again, he's an unreliable narrator. I don't think they would like disclose that they are an ex-employee of Ethan's. That's extremely odd because you're basically giving away the identity of the person who reported it. But it's probably like Ethan just made it up, unless the guy just broke the law and gave away the identity of the reporter.
It was somebody, he said, like, when he first showed up, he's like, it's somebody that you know who made the report. And I'm like, no, okay. So he said, like, when he first showed up, he's like, it's somebody that you know who made the report.
It's somebody that you know that made the report? Okay, that, like, I feel like that's a lie, because that's insane to say. Like, unless the guy lied to Ethan. But once again, even if the investigator actually said it's somebody that you know that made the report, which is a crazy thing to do. Isn't that crazy? It's like, what are you doing? Are you playing Guess Who? Oh, it's a guy with a hat. It's like, Ethan's like, did he have a hat? And he's like, Does he have blonde hair? Is it a he? It's like, is it somebody that I know in the past year? It's like, look, even if the guy said that it's somebody that you know, that doesn't mean that the person worked at the house that made the report, which once again, Ethan's just lying, right? So I really don't think we can take anything Ethan says as the full-on truth, because he literally just said it was somebody that worked at the house, and then he's like, well, I know it was somebody that worked at the house because the investigator said it's somebody that I know. Do you only know people that work for you, Ethan? Like, literally, do you only know people that work for you?
They were able to provide enough details because of what I said on the show to make it appear that it was somebody. He said, like, when he first showed up, he's like, it's somebody that you know who made the report. And I'm like, no, okay. So I mean, they used. I mean, yeah, you could easily impersonate.
Oh, sorry.
You're good. Go ahead.
What's truly like despicable to me is
You honestly can't easily impersonate that. First of all, if it was a harassment campaign done by H3 Snark, it wouldn't be one single person calling and giving enough substantial evidence that they would actually that they would go with it. Like, once again, they need to give their name, their telephone number, the information that gave rise, and then the source or sources of the information that gave rise. So if you're giving your name and your telephone number, that's probably someone who's willing to, put themselves out there and willing to like work with the investigation to substantiate their claims. So the fact that Ethan's trying to make it seem like it's just this globular mass of snarkers whose just emotions and their energy have all culminated into a call on CPS is crazy. It's obviously one person who had enough information and had a close enough proximity to Ethan to actually put themselves out there and commit to getting this investigation done. Like, it could even be malicious. But that still means that it was a person who like had enough conviction to commit because CPS wouldn't go off of this. They wouldn't send a person out there and investigate off of just an anonymous tip. Like one person sending a text or calling from like a phone booth or whatever Ethan's trying to say.
Is the fact that like you hear so often that CPS like that they're not always.
They're underfunded.
Yes, and also it always like seeps through the cracks for some reason.
Yeah.
And so the fact that they were so on it here, it's like that could have gone to a family that really needed it and a child that really needed to be saved. Like
I was pretty surprised. I mean, one anonymous call. I was like, that's all it takes. But I guess the thing is, he was like, we thought it was someone who.
I can't imagine how
know.
scary.
The guy was very nice. He was a very professional, a nice
So now he says, we think it's someone who you know.
young guy, very nice. At first, he's not from our world. He doesn't understand. And I tried to explain like this.
Oh my God, I'm just reading chat right now. Teddy Fresh and Jardia collab. Oh. Dude, Gila made a fucking shirt about the LA wildfires. She needs to make a shirt about Giardia. But maybe this is it.
This is part of this harassment campaign. We've been visited by the FBI. We've been swatted, this and that. And we talked for a while. He gets it. But there's certain things that I guess he has to do. So he looked all. I mean, you walked around with him. I was upset about the whole thing.
Well, yeah, I was very upset as well.
He
wanted to look at everything.
Well, the house is spotless.
He was checking the house and like, where do the dogs go potty? Because we heard that there's poop on the floor.
The house is spotless.
Our house is so clean.
So it really was the clips of Ethan saying that his dogs are shitting everywhere. That's honestly like. Listen, should that get a CPS call? I don't think so. But the fact that it's bad enough that, like, guys, it's on the fucking internet. The person obviously would be like, okay, let's say the person did actually work for the Kleins and did know Ethan and was in their house, and they're like, yeah, I went over there. It was disgusting. Like, I'm willing to substantiate it. I'm willing to testify. I'm even willing to like send pictures if I have them. And even Ethan Klein and his wife have like multiple segments of them talking about their house being disgusting. And then CPS is like, oh, well, like, I don't know. We need more evidence than that. Like, okay, watch the clips. CPS watches the clips and they're like, yeah, we got to get out there ASAP. It's so embarrassing, dude. Like, what the hell? You tell jokes about how your house is full of shit and everyone's getting sick, which, listen, people in the same house get sick. And Giardia doesn't only have to spread from feces. It can be in the water supply or whatever. Like, people in the same house will get sick. Houses can get gross sometimes. That doesn't necessitate CPS coming out. But it's just a funny visual to me, and we don't know what kind of evidence that CPS saw that made them investigate them, made them like send a person out there. But it's a funny mental image having someone send a clip to CPS and being like, see, isn't this gross? And they're like, oh my God, we have to go out there. Like, if Ethan's actually trying to make the argument that CPS is investigating them only based off of the clip of on his podcast, that just makes it look even worse for him. It's like you describing the conditions of your house painted you and your family in such a disgusting picture that CPS is like, we need to investigate this. This is crazy.
We literally installed this huge outdoor, I don't know how you call it. It's like a huge outdoor area connected to a doggy door.
Yeah, because we live in an area where
Well, a clothing line to support Palestinian relief named a dirty bear, a spin on the Teddy Fresh. Oh, that'd actually be pretty good. Marta says they shit everywhere in the studio. There's a clip of Dan being mad at them for not training dogs at all. Am I wrong, or did Ethan like criticize Hassan for training Kaya? Or I think I saw something where they were like, maybe I'll look for it later. But I think I saw something where people were criticizing Hassan. Okay, let me look this up. Let me go to the Reddit again. I think it was something like, in Hassan's subreddit, the H3 production people were now saying that Hassan has a messy house because Kaya's was peeing in the house as a puppy. Let's see. Let me just look this up. Kaya's origin revealed. I don't know. Socialism is when Big Dog is distributed fairly to all the workers so they can earn a livable piece of Big Dog. That's true. Anyway, it's just so funny. They're like criticizing Hassan for having the dog.
Outdoor, I don't know how you call it. It's like a huge outdoor area connected to a doggy door.
Yeah, because we live in an area where there are coyotes, and we did fence our house like really well. They don't really get in the backyard, but for our own peace of mind, we wouldn't let the dogs out unsupervised.
Hell no, in the middle of the night, especially
in the middle of the night. So we set up a doggy door for them that once you exit it, you are in a totally enclosed, like a huge cage. It's not like a small cage. It's like a room. Yeah, I mean, everybody in our house is very privileged, including the dogs and the kids. So I showed him like, we take them out. They have a giant backyard, and then they even have this enclosure that we built just for them so they can go out safely at night. Then I showed him the kids' rooms, and he's like, oh yeah, lots of toys. And I'm like, yep, lots of toys. Then he wanted to see Sunny.
What? Bro, I love Ela bragging about this. It's so funny. The guy's investigating that before the poor conditions that their dogs and their kids are in, like in terms of sanitation. And then he goes into the room and he's like, oh, lots of toys. That's one strike against being a neglectful parent. And Hila just stands there proudly in the doorway as he's like as he's just going over all of their toys and is like, there's so many toys. And she's like, yes, lots of toys. We buy lots of toys for our kids. Everyone here is privileged. Oh my God. I don't know, guys. I find it privileged. I find it that I was privileged because my parents actually spend time with me every day. But they have maids and nannies for their kids. They're little kids, right? Ethan says himself how much his parents don't like being at their house. So I guess Ethan's parents can't really take care of the kids when him and Hila are on the podcast. I mean, Hila doesn't even. Okay. Whatever. Let's continue. We're not gonna get into their parenting, but their kids are very privileged because they have lots of toys.
I went to show him Sunny, and he fucking woke up. Sunny that was taking a nap.
He did on accident.
Not on purpose, but he wanted to take a look. And Sunny's like, they sense everything. Yeah. The babies can sense, and it's like, what the fuck is this stranger staring at me in my room? Mm-hmm. We looked at Sunny, then they wanted to talk to our nanny and ask questions. Who feeds the kids? Who takes care of them? Who takes them to school? And like,
what do you do when you get angry?
I don't know, guys. When the guy's asking who feeds the kids, who takes care of them, who takes them to school, that doesn't scream, we're investigating you based off of the fecal matter of your dogs in like a 2-minute clip that you said on a podcast a few weeks ago. That doesn't scream that to me. It sounds like a bit of a different questions that they were investigating. off of those, oh, can we talk to your nanny to see like how the kids are actually being taken care of and treated?
At your kids.
Yeah,
What do you do when a dog poops on the floor? What do you do when you get angry at your kids?
Yeah, what
do you do when a dog?
What do you do when you get angry at your kids? That does not sound like a question of the sanitation or the sanitary conditions of your dog shitting on the floor. It's like, once again, like, we need to, when we're talking about anything that Ethan Klein is doing, you need to really inspect it with a degree of criticism to everything that he's doing and try to parse through the truth. So he says, like, oh, what do you do when you're angry at your kids? Why would you bring that up? That has nothing to do with the main claim of your kids were eating dog shit. What do you do when the dogs poo on the floor? It's like, okay, that might be something that Ethan's just making up to try to substantiate his claim that it's an online harassment campaign against them.
Poops on the floor. And then the part that, in my opinion, crossed the line was like, so I'm going to visit your kids at school and ask them questions. And I says, you're not fucking doing that.
No,
I mean, we
that's-
both were like, that's not happening. You're not going.
Terrifying.
You are not doing that. So he agreed to come visit our
Coming back
house
next week.
when the kids are at home because he needs to fucking interview our kids as a matter of procedure.
But I was like, I really don't want you to create any bad memory here for them. Like, they are 5 and 3. They don't understand this shit. So I told him, if you want to come, and I'm going to tell them that you're our friend, and I'm going to be there, and you can ask them questions as our friend, we can do that. But like, anything beyond that is not happening.
I do want to clarify the guy was very nice and understanding.
The guy was nice. I have no problem
He's
with the
just doing
guy.
his job, you know, but, like,
it's not related.
it's kind of hard to believe that one anonymous tip can result in this fucking
One anonymous
massive waste,
call.
One
call.
massive waste of time and resources from a vitally underfunded, understaffed, overworked department that does really important work. And
But then you hear about stories, people that actually need the help and they don't get it.
that's what Olivia was saying. Yeah.
So frequently.
Yeah. It's, I mean,
Yeah, and there's kids that never get reported because people are like afraid to report because they're afraid of repercussions, kind of like what you're trying to do right now. Anyway, guys, like, so I think that's everything. We can let them talk about it a little bit more, but they really have no way of defending themselves. Let's list the ways that they have of defending themselves. They say that it's a waste of resources. Well, if CPS deemed that it wasn't necessary to investigate them, then they wouldn't investigate them. They say that and then they go and they attack the snark Reddit because they think that it's the snark Reddit that called it. Obviously, that's not the case. Ethan's even said, like, look, Ethan's probably lying, but if he was going to, like, every time Ethan lies, he tries to use it to his purpose. And so if he was going to lie, he's going to say that it's like, oh yeah, it was an anonymous call and it was a snarker that called. But then he says that the guy says that he knows Ethan. So the investigator says that the person who called in the tip knows Ethan. So it's like, okay, so is it anonymous or is it a snarker or does the person actually know you and does the person work for you? Like, Ethan's all across the board there. And so, like, obviously they don't really, the thing is, this is a nothing story, right? Ethan's trying to make this into a story where it's all of this harassment coming up against him. And that's why Hila's reaching out on her Instagram and being like, if you guys know reporters, send them my way and we're going to talk about harassment on the internet. But at the end of the day, this story is nothing. This story is the government doing its job. A section of the government that's used to determine if children are in a safe place doing its job. And Ethan just doesn't like that. And so he's throwing a tantrum on his podcast. And it's like, he shouldn't really be covering this at all, because if it is actually harassment, it's just making the problem worse. It's rewarding the people that are doing harassment and calling in fake tips to CPS. Like, listen, if it's actually someone online who just saw that clip on the podcast and they genuinely care about CPS's resources being wasted, which, once again, if it was an unsubstantiated call, CPS wouldn't be investigating them. So that is a dumb talking point. It's not that CPS's resources are being wasted. It's that they're being used on Ethan and his family. But if he genuinely thought that it was just like a random person calling CPS, wasting their resources and harassing a content creator that they hate, then why the fuck would you ever bring it up on your show? You're just encouraging people to do it. When you spend like, what, this is 17 minutes, but then it's like an entire over 3-hour episode. Yeah, Reddit is calling CPS on us, so they're definitely going back to it. That's the title of the episode. So you like make one 3-hour video, you make a video on your other channel, and you make another 3-hour video yesterday about this. That's a ton of attention brought upon this. If someone really wanted to like derail a content creator's life, why? And you're saying that just anyone anonymously can call. Why wouldn't more anonymous people call to try to get more reactions like this from other content creators? You are encouraging CPS. You're not snuffing this issue out. You're not like you're not shining a light on this dark area of the internet. You're just encouraging more people to do this harassment. But once again, I don't think that this is just an example of internet harassment. It seems like there's more substantial evidence to this claim that we're just not seeing. And like the last thing that I'm going to really talk on in this rant that I'm doing is that this is a scary situation for the Kleins. They said something online or did something that someone saw while they were interacting with their house that warranted like CPS to come out and investigate them. And even if it is completely departed from reality and there's no evidence there that they're being abusive at all, still the very fact that you are being investigated and someone is now doing a survey of you to see if you are fit as parents, that's a scary thing. And so like I don't blame Gila and Ethan for being mad at this. I don't blame them for wanting to use their power, which their main power is this show, to try to fight against this. But really, you're putting your energy in the wrong thing when you're devoting so much time to your show or on your show trying to attack this made up enemy that they have in their minds, this snark enemy who's just harassing them, and all of this is actually due to Snark and Hassan in some way. It's all their fault. That's completely irrelevant to the situation at hand. It's like, yes, this investigation sucks. It's going to make your children probably feel unsafe. It makes them feel unsafe, but you're going to have to deal with it. And yelling about it online is not dealing with it. You are just trying to like you're just trying to garner sympathy points. And so we can criticize the actions that Ethan's doing while still being empathetic to what him and his family is going through. Because once again, being like critically judged to see if you are a fit parent is not a fun process to go through. That really sounds like it would suck. And so like either way, even if it comes out that Ethan is abusing his kids, and I don't know, I don't know why the hell he would ever go on his podcast and say, oh yeah, my kids were taken away from me. So we'd probably never know if CPS, what CPS finds, unless they say like, oh yeah, there's nothing, you guys are totally good. It's like it's just a non-story. All right, let's continue.
And shit, I don't know. But I mean, at what point is it like, and this is something, if you go on Reddit and you go on the snarks, this is something, and the new snark that they all migrated to is completely unmoderated. This is something that this is a narrative that they've picked up and talk about all the time. And I just wonder at what point, I think Reddit is just waiting for me to kill myself. I genuinely, I don't know what it takes. And I think if
that is what it takes. Somebody eventually will do that. And then they'll be like, oh no, there's this phenomenon called snark pages.
We had no idea.
And then the journalist will write about it.
The
and they'll
fucking
be like,
journalist, by the way.
Can you believe this phenomena of snark pages?
The same people who are like, Ethan Klein is actually in a state of psychosis.
Yeah.
He says that nobody's ever been harassed like him in the history of the internet. And actually, I'm going to interview the mods of these snark subreddits and also characterize them as heroes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't know what to do. Like, at a certain point, I just really don't understand. Again, Trisha's subreddit was ruining her life, or the snark one.
Yeah.
It was super toxic there, and she got it removed fairly easily.
You know what I would like to say, too, is that, like, if she actually cared about us and about other parents and children, she would tell her friends to back off. Because to me, a lot of these people are her friends. It started as Frenemies 3, for the people that remember.
The hell are they talking about now?
And about other parents and children. she would tell her friends to back off. Because to me, a lot of these people are her friends. It started as Frenemies 3 for the people that remember. There was Frenemies, then there was Frenemies 2, then Frenemies
Right,
3
forgot about all that.
was like the latest snark page. Then it became
Shout out to Frenemies 12, by the way.
a rebrand to
yeah,
H.
that was a real one. They
It
went all the way
became
up to 12.
H3 snark, and then
Yeah, give us a history of Reddit. Reddit is promoting calling CPS on us. Okay, I mean you're kind of promoting it too on your show. Well, let's see.
I want to kind of just get this out now so that we don't have to bring it up next time. But they're posting that making CPS reports are anonymous on this subreddit, the new snark.
so they're promoting doing it.
How is this not breaking the rules?
Yeah,
How is this allowed on Reddit?
that's crazy.
2 hours, no moderation. How is this allowed? I'm losing my fucking
It's
mind.
just so obvious. Like none of these people are actually worried about.
No.
I
This,
just-
What? I just wanted to remind everyone, whether you're a fan or snarker, that CPS reports are all anonymous and confidential. If someone did call CPS on EK, there's no way he could know the identity of who did it, at least without getting his lawyer involved. This is another example of EK slapping a false implication on highly critical people of H3 as a means to defame and vilify anyone that criticizes H3. This is all it is. This is another example of EK slapping a false implication on highly critical people of H3 as a means to defame. Well, listen, this person isn't encouraging people to call CPS. They're basically fact checking Ethan. Ethan's saying that it was a snarker that called CPS on them. Shit, I actually want to see. Do they talk about like he's gonna take legal
my
action
opinion,
here?
Based on my experience with Trisha, with frenemies, and with everything and whatever the fuck I'm going through, that is my opinion. You can disagree. You can think whatever you want.
I don't think you say anything that bad. I mean, I accused her of lying about
And
infertile.
yeah, and I know that some people had opinions about that, and I think you're entitled to your opinion too.
Yeah, but
Opinions are opinions.
I have a very
Opinions are opinions, but if you have negative opinions on us and you post it on Reddit, then you're trying to get us to kill ourselves.
They're based on our
opinion.
personal experience and what we're going through.
I mean, listen, if you want someone's opinion about Trisha and Moses, I don't think there's anyone more informed to talk about them than me, you know? But anyway, I'm not listening. The ironic part about it being Trisha fans is that they've really adopted the whole genocide narrative.
Yes.
They found that was like the most effective
And
way.
that's the next thing that drives me so crazy. Because like, if that's actually your cause, but you have no problem with Trisha and Moses, then what the fuck? What the fuck? She showed up to our holiday dinner dressed in IDF costume, and you're okay with that?
I mean, she's also done stuff on video where she's like, we don't care about
Are
Palestine.
you
We're
okay
told
with
you
that?
we're-
Why is Hila saying that she had a guest at her holiday dinner who dressed as the IDF, like that somehow doesn't implicate her too? Oh, Trisha came to my holiday dinner dressed as an IDF soldier, dressed as a genocider. Would you let someone that dressed as a Nazi or a KKK Klansman show up at your house? What? She's also what is, once again, they cannot take any kind of credit. Why are they on this again, dude? It's so sickening. Listen, they covered Palestine once, and it was when Trump did an AI generated video talking about how he's gonna like ethnically cleanse Gaza. And it's like, okay, yeah, props for you for covering that and talking about how disgusting it is. It's like you can only cover this when Trump's doing it, but sure, you brought that up and there was no criticism of Israel that you were trying to defend. There were no like snarkers you were trying to attack, but every single other time they bring up Palestine, it's in the context of criticizing people that are like anti-Zionist. They're criticizing people that are criticizing them for being too pro-Zionist. They're like, oh, you say that you're a pro-Palestinian advocate, and yet you don't criticize Trisha? Bro, people do criticize her. What the fuck are you talking? Where is this mythical group of people that are against Ethan and Hila for being too pro-Palestine, but they support Trisha? The reason that Trisha isn't getting as much hatred as these two fucking idiots are is because she doesn't spend 99% of her time on the internet attacking people that are criticizing her for being pro-Israel. She doesn't do that. She doesn't like engage in this. I don't. She doesn't engage in the fucking mud that Ethan and Hila engage in. Like, this is literally the lowest level of internet you can get onto, where you are debating literal comments in like a Reddit group that's criticizing you. It's insane.
Full Israel all the way. And and you want to talk about Hila being a secretary? Moses was he was served in a combat position in the fucking Air Force.
And I don't have a problem with what he did.
Nope, not
but
at
you
all.
should apparently. That's my point. Apparently you should have a problem. But you guys, and I don't have a problem with
And I
And
mean, and you want to talk about Ela being a secretary? Moses was he was served in a combat position in the fucking Air Force.
And I don't have a problem with what he did.
Nope, not
but
at
you
all.
should apparently. That's my point.
Holy fuck. Like, they're literally just self-reporting. So Ela says, why don't you criticize Trisha and Moses? Because Trisha dressed as an IDF member when she came to my dinner party, or my holiday party. And Moses was an Air Force pilot in the IDF. So he bombed Palestinian children. I don't have a problem with what he did, but you should. This is why people criticize you, you fucking moron. People criticize you because you support people dressing up in IDF costumes. You support people serving in the IDF. You support people bombing Palestinians. Like, she literally just said, I don't have a problem with Moses being an Air Force pilot in the IDF. Yeah, first of all, dude, people are criticizing Ethan and Ela because they engage with it. Once again, if you don't want to be criticized, don't constantly engage in the criticism. It's like, there's a quick way to stop having a conversation with someone. You stop talking to them. Like, Ethan's it's like one of those guys where you get into like a Twitter argument with someone and you just keep texting back and forth and you're like, all right, that's it. This is the last thing I have to say. You're a piece of shit. And then someone responds like, no, you. And you like put your phone down, you hear a buzz and you're like, no, you're a piece of shit. You suck. Like, I'm going to come to your house and beat you up. And then the person's just like, no, you. And then Ethan gets all triggered again. It's like, you could just hit the block button and move on with your life. It's fucking crazy. They're literally just like, you guys are criticizing us for being pro-IDF? My brother-in-law, Moses is Moses Ela's brother? My brother killed people as an Air Force pilot, and you don't have any criticism for him? I don't, because I support what he did, but you don't have criticism for him? It's like, holy shit, this is why people are criticizing you. They would criticize Moses if he responded to everything. They would criticize it. It's fucking insane, dude. Oh my god. Okay. And people do criticize him, but it's, I don't know. Is it universally known that he's a piece of shit? Because they're making the argument for us that he's a piece of shit.
Apparently, you should have a problem. But you guys, some of you guys, a good portion of you are Trisha fans. So you just found a new cause to pretend that you care about.
Well, the unfortunate thing has been picked up now by Hassan and
that's
people
my
in
next
his orbit,
problem. Is that people like Hassan will cite the snark like it's an actual source for something.
Yeah. No, they do.
I swear, the whole world has gone crazy.
Well, while simultaneously, Hassan's someone who's like, crying to live stream fails moderators too.
Yeah.
You can't. I'm being harassed. You have to remove me. Don't talk about me. The Reddit they're obsessed over me, and it's so unfair. And it's like, nobody gives a fuck. But someone like Adam, especially, who's like on record being like,
what? Nobody gives a fuck? Dude, holy shit. Once again, why are you criticizing Hassan for being like, can you ban me from live stream fails? I don't want to be talked about there. You want the same thing. When has Hassan, this is so fucking dumb, bro. I knew it would get back to blaming Hassan somehow. So it's because what? Hassan uses the H3 snark, which once again, he's literally never gone on to H3 snark. If he's like ever read a post off of it, it's been cross-posted to something else. And people have just sent it to him. So like, he's never gone on H3 snark, but what the fuck ever? Who cares? Hassan has criticized Ethan like a micro fraction of what Ethan's done to Hassan. It's insane, man. And now, like, this is boggling my mind. Ethan's like, Hassan doesn't like harassment. He's such a hypocrite because he doesn't like to be harassed. What the fuck are you talking? When has he ever been pro-harassment? When has he ever said that he likes being harassed? It's like, you've been oh my god, you've been harassing Hassan for the last 6 months, trying to literally get him banned. You've literally advocated for him to get killed because you're criticizing him for not going to Gaza, and he's not a big enough advocate for you. You're like, oh, well, why don't you want to go to Gaza? Why don't you want to go to Gaza, Hassan? Oh, because you can't get a 5-star hotel? You can't eat at a Michelin star restaurant? What is it? Is Gaza below you, Hassan? You should go. Oh, you can't get security assurances, little pussy, and you think that you're an advocate for Palestine? You've never even been to Palestine. You've never even been to Israel. You don't know what you're talking about. You should go to Gaza. It's like, bro, you were literally advocating for Hassan to get killed. When you're telling him to go to Gaza, do you know how many this has been the deadliest conflict for journalists since they've started recording journalist deaths. This is like literally the deadliest conflict for journalists in history. And you're telling Assad to go to Gaza. You're advocating for him to get fucking murked. And you're saying that he's being a hypocrite for not wanting to be harassed? Dude, fuck this guy. He's such a piece of shit. Honestly, Ethan's such a piece of shit. Like, the content of what he does aside, he's just like a bad human. He's just like a really bad guy.
I respect Snark.
Adam McIntyre needs to just like disappear. That guy is a piece of shit, like of the lowest order. I never even stood by him when he talked bad.
My baby wouldn't even eat Adam McIntyre. He's that much of a low order piece of shit. He's such a piece of shit of such low order that my child wouldn't even eat him off the floor. My dog wouldn't even come bounding into the room to try to gobble him up. He's such a low piece of shit. It's fucking hilarious, man.
About Trisha having a kid and called him like the spawn of Satan. He was supposedly on our side. I would never even co-sign that. I was disgusted about Trisha having a kid and called him like the spawn of Satan. He was supposedly on our side. I would never even co-sign that. I was disgusted by that statement too. But now he's back on Trisha's
he's
side.
trying to buddy up. I think he's trying to get on Jones'
now
side.
he's back on her side. But I remember when he called her kid the spawn of Satan.
I never said anything.
And I was supposed to be like cheering on, but I wasn't going to cheer that on. That's disgusting.
Why do you forget that he called her children, which is something we would never do, the spawn of Satan?
It's disgusting.
And
a piece of shit of a human.
It's just incredible who ends up being the good guys in this story. You know, it's really.
Who are the good
Honestly,
guys?
I don't care anymore.
The only good guy in this story is the CPS investigator that's investigating you. Like, it's so funny. Anyway, okay, let's watch this.
I want to kind of just get this out now so that we don't have to bring it up next time. But they're posting that making CPS reports are anonymous on this subreddit, the new snark.
So they're promoting doing it?
Oh my god. Bro, AB definitely knew what he was doing with this. He's definitely shitstorming. You can see the little smirk on his face. He says they're posting that making CPS reports is anonymous. So he just says like the title of the post, right? Immediately Hila goes to saying, "Oh, they're promoting doing it," which is really funny. Like, he knew what he was doing. He just said the title of the post, but like in a certain tone, and immediately Hila picks it up and she's like, "Oh, so they're promoting us getting CPS called on us. They're promoting CPS being called on us." Once again, they're trying to fact check you guys. When they say that it's anonymous and confidential, it's not necessarily true. It's true that it's confidential and it's anonymous to people outside of like the CPS investigation, but you can't just leave an anonymous tip where CPS doesn't know the identity of the person leaving the tip, because we just read the new law that was literally passed a year ago saying that the person needs to leave their name, number, and then the reason that they were leaving the tip and like the evidence for the tip.
How is this not breaking the rules?
Yeah.
How is this allowed on Reddit?
That's crazy.
2 hours, no moderation. How is this allowed? I'm losing my fucking mind.
It's just so obvious, like
Because it's fact checking, you fucking idiots. And if you wanted, you could fact check them and say that this is fake news because it's technically not like completely anonymous. But it's true. If someone did call CPS on EK, there's no way he can know the identity of who did it, at least without getting his lawyer involved. I guess that's true. Like, they said if it's left in good faith, then you're completely anonymous and like confidential. This is another example of EK slapping a false implication on highly critical people of H3. Yeah, and then this is the other part of it. It's like Ethan saying this is a snark thing, which is just not true at all. There's no evidence that it's a snark thing, and there's actually evidence that it's not a snark thing because according to Ethan, the investigator said that Ethan personally knows the person who left the report, and the person worked for Ethan, which is crazy. Like, that didn't happen at all.
None of these people are actually worried about
No. This is a serious fucking issue. Like, this is not. This has to be dealt with. This is not normal. All CPS reports are anonymous. Just wanted to remind everyone, whether you're a fan or a snarker. Oh yeah, the fans are lining up to call CPS. The Child Protective, well, I guess they overlap. The Child Protective Service are all anonymous and confidential. If someone did call CPS on EK, there's no way he could identify or know who did it, at least without getting his lawyer involved. This is another example of
isn't like that high
slapping
bar.
a false implication. What? I didn't imply it. This is another example of EK slapping a false implication on highly critical people of H3. Oh,
Nice,
right. It wasn't.
nice one.
It wasn't one of you guys. It was. I don't even know what they're trying to say. It was
was
means to
Cam.
defame and vilify anyone that criticizes
You literally just said what they're trying to say. He literally just said what they're trying to say and then is like, I don't even know what they're trying to say. Okay, whatever.
H3.
It was Cam. He said you didn't feed him.
It's revenge.
Hold on. This is on Reddit. 2 hours it's been up there without being moderated, and it has 200 points. Guys, please mass report this. This is just such a fucking disgusting, blatant violation. I am so. Send me that link,
I
please.
don't know how is there no way to like get ready to do Reddit to do something. I don't.
What are you reporting them for? He's saying report them for what? Seriously. Please report this. I can't believe this is up on Reddit. Care to explain what's wrong with the post?
understand that.
I feel like with Reddit, the history has been that outside forces always get involved.
Oh, I just got something interesting. Speaking of new evidence, pull this up. I'm sending it in the podcast chat.
Okay.
Where do
One
you send
second
it?
before you bring that up, let me type something.
Where'd you send it, love? I need it on my phone.
Oh,
okay.
It's been everything for us.
Rocky, my dog, you gotta pay attention.
About,
So this is all.
Oh
from
yeah,
Nuke.
Ethan's mole on the inside. What is this?
Snark.
I guess so.
Let's see. I'm walking my dog. You gotta pay attention while doing that. What if you accidentally step in your dog's poop and get giardia? Yeah, it's a real struggle. Laugh my ass off. Good thing I don't have 3 small children. Well, hold on.
By the
What's
way,
the
there
title
was
of the
never
post?
an accident in the house. Like Olive is so good. She's never even done one accident in the house.
Yeah. Okay. Never mind. I guess it's not.
Why are you telling us? Oh my god. Okay. I mean, your husband was literally making a bit about how you, parasitic disease that your dog had was spreading to your entire family, and now, like 3 weeks later, you're saying, "Oh, they've never had an accident in the house."
It's not worth getting into right now.
Then why would you
What were
put
we
it
on
up?
about,
What do you mean it's not worth getting
what
into
were we
right
talking
now?
about big justice.
Because it didn't show what you wanted it to show. Okay, here.
Something to think
Chat
about.
from Snark. Why do you want Ethan Badempton told me CPS is looking for a new home for them? Oh, that's an interesting lead. Okay, I mean, I'm not going to be surprised at all if it came from him. But here's somebody, and by the way, I just can't get over that people are actually upvoting this. Like, people are like, yes, I'm participating in this conversation. Okay, Bad Empanada told CPS they're looking for a new home. It's really strange, blah, blah, blah. Okay, but I mean, I guess this is the...
I think they basically show that they talk about CPS before it happened to you. So like 2 days ago, 3 days ago, 8 days ago, that was a recurring topic on H3.
These people are so
Got it.
fucking pathetically stupid. Yep, I was thinking this dude was way too flippant about the fact that he had fucking controlled substance use on the damn floor in a house with toddlers. Are you fucking... This was before we
It's
had kids.
just it's really becoming hard to do this show because it's like you can't tell any random story anymore because it becomes like content for this
Well,
guy
I'm
and
not-
a whole weapon
I'm not
against
going to
us.
edit myself, that's for sure. But
I know, but this is
But
getting
yeah, no,
really difficult.
it's hard to when. But I didn't have kids at the time. You fucking idiot. I said Shredder was 1 or 2 years old. You dumb, pathetic, fucking loser. Anyway, if Teddy would have eaten it, they would have had an unpleasant visit from CPS. Oh yeah, they had kids crawling around. Holy crap, that's dark. Bad Empanada's IG stories, but by laughing it off and it's basically just going, oh, Ethan, his whole staff is telling him it's normal. This dude
Shut up.
Yeah, let's
makes
go.
me
fuck
fuck
yourself.
yourself. About it. Poor kids deserve better. So I work in a field where I'm mandated.
Poor kids
I work
deserve
in a field
better.
where I'm a mandated reporter. If I heard the story in a setting related to my job, I would have to call CPS. Yeah, I'm a nurse. If I had a pediatric patient come in and his wife, and this was with the story, I'm 100% reporting it. So I mean, yeah, there's no question it came from Snark. There's no question. This is just a thing, and I mean,
There's no question it came from Snark. You literally said the investigator told you it was someone you know. What? It's no question it came... Yeah, there's a question. Someone saying, oh, if I heard this story, I would call CPS. They're not saying we should call CPS. They're like, I'm a mandated reporter. I would call CPS on this story. Oh my god, this guy's such a fucking moron, dude. Like what? Why not claim that it's Bad Empanada's fault? Because Bad Empanada was the one who talked about, like, he's the one who highlighted this story. Why do you want Ethan's? Bad Empanada told me CPS is looking for a new home for them. Like, that's obviously a joke talking about Bad Empanada talking about CPS. If Teddy had eaten that instead of Shredder, they would have had an unpleasant visit from CPS. It's not... Okay, just because they mentioned CPS, you think that it's, like, unquestionable that it came from Snark? Bro, this guy's so unhinged. He's so
8
unhinged.
days ago, that was a reoccurring topic on H3.
Oh, these people are so
Got it.
fucking pathetically stupid. Yep, I was thinking this dude was way too flippant about the fact that he had fucking controlled substance use on the damn floor in a house with toddlers. Are you fucking...
All right, we
Mike,
saw
I didn't
this
have kids at the
already.
time. You where I mandated reports. There has to be a way to hold Reddit accountable. At this point, I can't even blame the snarkers. It's just they are enabling it. They're allowing it. And as far as I can tell, they are participating in it. There needs to be some accountability for these fucking pathetic people. Why was Trisha's snark banned? Like no problem. This has been going on for years, and it's getting more and more extreme. CPS came to our fucking house this morning. What the fuck, you guys? What the fuck? What do I do?
Maybe we need to make like a Instagram reel where I say what happened, post it on Instagram, post it on Twitter.
I don't think
That won't work.
There's
No.
the answer is not on social media. It's with lawyers and reporters.
My lawyer can't do fucking shit, and it's driving me crazy.
I don't know what to tell
They
you.
go, oh, 230, you can't do anything. Really? I can't believe that. That a website just allows this level of harassment, and it's just like, oh, 230, you can't fucking... That's
What's
just
230.
Section 230. They can't be held responsible for what their users post.
But isn't taking...
Is that why Kiwi Farms exist?
Not in
Kiwi
terms of
Farms,
Reddit,
well,
but
the owners are down with all that. I don't know. Yeah, Kiwi Farms exists basically for the sole purpose of harassing people, so I don't know.
So they're not posting illegal things. They're commenting on content that you put out there. And Reddit's not hosting anything illegal, and your lawyer says there's nothing that they can do. I mean, holy shit. Once again, man, let's say it even was Snark that called CPS. That's pretty shitty. That should be a situation that CPS deals with. If they're getting like crank calls and fake tips to try to harass people, that simply just needs to be something that CPS deals with. And sure, if Reddit is allowing people to actually kind of like send DMs and plan to do illegal things, like using these systems like CPS and the police to harass people and target people, then Reddit should be held accountable for allowing illegal things to happen, and Reddit has moderation for that. Like, I think recently there's been a lot of posts about Luigi Mangione getting taken down because Reddit is really worried that it's going to be construed as supporting violence and like promoting violence against people if people post memes of Luigi. So obviously they do have good moderation when it comes to people doing things that are illegal or even potentially illegal. Seeing someone's story and being like, oh yeah, I'm like a mandated reporter, I would call CPS if I heard like a kid talking about that. That's not illegal. That's not even harassment. They're not like, they're simply not harassing you. They're just talking about you. If they were like showing up on everything you were doing and being like, oh, you should get CPS called on you, or like you're a Zionist scumbag and you're gonna burn in hell, that could be like called online harassment, but that's simply not happening. Like, sure, on a few of Ethan's Instagram stories, people were posting about that. When he himself was complaining about it, he's like, oh, look at how much hate I'm getting on my Instagram stories. And then when he first did that, people were showing up there. You can consider that harassment. But that's simply not happening, dude. It's like, just exist in your own little bubble. Stop worrying about all of these people that are being critical of you, because that's simply what it is. People being critical of you. And don't let it bother you. Don't let it bother you. Unless you're actually willing to take what they're saying in good faith and be critical of yourself and to try to change yourself for the better, you can do that. You can engage in their criticism that way, but you've clearly shown that you're not willing to change anything. In fact, you're like doubling down on the habits that you're being criticized for.
Yeah, I mean, the origin of Kiwi Farms was Chris Chan. It was literally a site dedicated to harassing that guy.
Mm-hmm.
Not Reddit, but with the CPS thing, like, there has to be some kind of crime to just be lying about that. I feel like
it is, but again, it's
hard to
anonymous,
prove,
and
yeah.
I don't think
It's a lie. It's a crime to be lying about that. Bro, since when did posting misinformation become a crime? Jesus Christ.
I don't think they know who it was. I think they would probably tell us if they knew, it seemed like, but
yeah. With the CPS thing, like, there has to be some kind of crime to just be lying about that. I feel like
it is.
Oh, I guess it's a crime to get CPS to go out there. No, I don't think it is a crime. Like, you might be banned.
But again, it's anonymous,
prove,
and
yeah.
I don't think they know who it was. I think they would
Let's
probably
look
tell
this
us if
up.
they knew, it seemed like, but because it's so obviously. Once the guy stepped foot in the house, he's like, understood.
Anywho,
Anywho,
What is it? You saying you want to say this, Galia, or you don't?
I think we should mention, like,
Yeah, say it.
yeah, we've tried so many stuff with Reddit. We've tried applying for adopt an admin program with them. Basically, whenever they like give you an admin from Reddit who will help with moderation or like guide you with moderation or on your sub.
Yeah, so it literally is a crime to do false CPS reports, and yet the CPS still went out to investigate it because of these crimes. Penalty for failure to report and false reporting of child abuse and neglect. I mean, there's also penalties for failure to report. Failure to report. Any mandated reporter who fails to report an incident of known or reasonably suspected child abuse or neglect is guilty of a misdemeanor punishable by up to 6 months. So like this is literally something, this is why the people were saying I'm a mandated reporter and I would report this, because it would fall under an incident of known or reasonably suspected child abuse. Like that's just, even if you're joking, if you're a mandated reporter, you'd still have to do it. Any person reporting a known or suspected incident of child abuse or neglect shall not incur civil or criminal liability as a result of any report, unless it can be proven that a false report was made and the person knew that the report was false or made with reckless disregard of the truth or falsity of the report. I mean, how can you possibly say that this was made with reckless disregard of the truth or falsity of the report when Ethan's literally on his show talking about the context of the report? Like CPS you can just send the clip to CPS and they can look at it, and they obviously did and thought that it warranted sending a person out there to do an investigation. They're liable for any damages caused. Interesting. Okay, is there anything left in this?
We've tried so many stuff with Reddit. We've tried applying for adopt an admin program with them. Basically, whenever they like give you an admin from Reddit who will help with moderation or like guide you with moderation or on your subreddit, we never heard back from them. We went to like conventions, online conventions that they had for moderators. We talked, like I personally asked questions on Discord about like our
Cry me a river, ha 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 ha. I just can't get that soundbite out of my head. Golly is so funny.
situation, whatever we have to do. All the admins are on the Discord at that time. The CEO is in the Discord.
Okay, well, this is boring ass shit. Let's get into. Oh shit! What did I close? Let's get into the video that Ethan made. This looks pretty bad. Like this video looks like it was pretty poorly made, but I'm kind of interested in watching it. Okay, so what is this? The quartering says, "This is so messed up that it has forced me to defend you, Ethan. It's that bad. Let me do a prank on these stalkers. They will never do it again. When I was at your house to tattoo you, watching you with your family inspired me to want a family. Seeing how great of parents you guys were, and your house was clean and beautiful, obviously. I can't believe this is happening to y'all. Well, we support you. Intelligence has been linked to memory recall, so it makes sense that Denims doesn't remember anything before her 20th birthday." So this is all about Denims. Those Denims clips hurt to listen to, holy. You know it's bad when you have Keemstar, Joey Salads, and the quartering get on Ethan's side like a bizarro Justice League. In all seriousness, I do hope you guys soon have peace and love. Bro, I mean, it's so comical. Hassan, early on in this harassment campaign that Ethan brought against Hassan made a comment. He's like, "Oh yeah, you're like aligning yourself with the court with Keemstar," and Ethan's like, "What the fuck are you saying, Hassan? You're lying about me." Like, I think that was the Weaselly Little Liar video where Ethan's like, "You're lying about me, saying that I'm with Keemstar," and now he literally has Keemstar like supporting him. And his subreddit is supporting Keemstar too. It's crazy. Like, what do we got here? How far do we need to scroll down to see this? Oh my god, this person's such an idiot, honestly. E.V. Solanis. Like, literally all she does is like post, "I'm pro-Palestine, but I support Ethan Klein." Like, I've engaged with her on Twitter a little bit, and she just has completely ignored me, but whatever. Oh yeah, I wanted to watch this too. Noah Sampson's new video. Let's see, how far do we have to scroll down to see Keemstar? A lot of anti-Hassan stuff. I mean, literally this whole subreddit has just become someone's criticizing or someone's supporting Ethan Klein. So we can't get through with that. It's all about drama with the rest of the internet. Anyway, let's see. Keemstar. Let's just look it up. Noah's video is very good. Yeah, it is. Apparently being against harassment and fraudulent CPS calls is so bad it warrants an Epstein list being made about it. Keem and Ethan. Gotta say, Keem, although he's terrible, is the creator of a lot of my favorite sound bites. It's sad to see many Keemstar and Millhouse are defending Ethan more than Ian and Nisa did. Can the pod post the edited lolcow clips AB has made? New theory, this harassment was purposely coordinated by people who did not like Ethan was the voice for Palestinian and oh my god, yeah. Like, I don't know why they're allowing positive posts about Keemstar being made in the subreddit here. Keemstar is right, and I hate that he is. Keemstar nerds out over the H3 studio setup. Like, I know nothing about Keemstar, but I thought Ethan was against him for some reason or other. Anyway, let's watch this.
Enjoy. Just to give you an idea about...
Whoops.
In my long career on YouTube, I've pretty much seen it all. I've been swatted several times with LAPD helicopters, street shut down.
All right, I don't care.
As we have credible bomb threats which they've gone to harass us and get revenge for going after their god king Hassan has frankly gone beyond...
What the... Immediately he brings up Hassan. Dude, shut the fuck up. People are not criticizing you because you're going after Hassan. People are criticizing you in your snark Reddits because you're a piece of shit. Oh my god, all he does is bitch and moan. You know, it's all Hassan's fault at the end of the day.
We have credible bomb threats against you that we found online. I thought I'd seen it all. I knew this content nuke was going to draw a lot of negative attention, seeing how extreme Hassan and his fan base are, and his orbiters. But the lengths to which they've gone to harass us and get revenge for going after their god king Hassan has frankly gone beyond any type of point of civility and humanity, to the point where they're calling CPS, Child Protective...
Bro, calling CPS over a perceived danger to your kids is literally the most civil and humane thing that can be done. They're literally getting an organization that is created to protect kids. It's in the name, Child Protective Services, to make sure your kids are okay. I'm sorry. Like, I know it's a scary thing for your family to go through, but this is like bro, it's the most civil and humane thing possible. It's fucking insane.
Services to come to our house and break up our family. On Friday morning, an agent showed up to our house saying that they had received an anonymous tip that our children were crawling around in dog shit, eating dog shit, and contracting diseases. Not only have they called CPS on us, now they're starting to try to call in a 5150 to get me committed. It's really gone on too far, and at this point, I'm ready to take no prisoners, take the gloves off, and call out everybody who needs to be called out. The thing is, once you target my children, then a line's been crossed that cannot be walked back. Once my kids are involved, when people are targeting my children, harassing my children, there's no length that I won't go to take care of this. And I think that's something that every parent can relate to. All these people, incidentally, who are promoting this type of insanity are, in fact, childless and will likely remain that way. The CPS agent showed up and he started asking us all kinds of questions like, who feeds the kids? Who takes care of the kids? What do you do to the kids when you get angry? How do the kids sleep? Do the kids have toys? Is that what happens when you get mad, or what happens when your kids get mad? He walked around the house. He looked in our refrigerator. He walked all around looking for dog shit, apparently. Although when he showed up immediately, he said, wow, this place is clean. Our 3- and 5-year-old boys were at school. Our 8-month-old is upstairs sleeping when he visits. And he says, I need to go upstairs and look at your infant visibly to see him and confirm he's okay. Well, he's napping in his crib. He goes upstairs to look around the house, to snoop around. He investigates Sonny, our youngest,
snoop
wakes him
around
up from his nap. And even though he woke him up during his nap, he was greeted immediately actually by a smile, because Sonny is probably the happiest baby in the entire world. He smiles at everybody. His name is Sonny because he is just a ray of sunshine. He just gave him a big smile. I mean, he's just the sweetest kid in the world. So we went back downstairs to continue the conversation, at which point he said something that both me and Hila had us both saying abso-fucking-lutely not. He said he was going to go to the children's school to interrogate them there. We both said, you are absolutely not going to ever go to their school and talk to them. That is fucking insane. We agreed that he'll come back to our house and interview our 3- and 5-year-old children at a time when they're at home, so he doesn't need to.
Yeah, like, I'm not even commenting on this because I feel like it speaks for itself. Like, once again, you can be scared about all of this, but right now, all that he's doing is trying to make CPS look bad. As he said in the previous podcast, he's just doing his job, and the guy was as nice as could possibly be. So now you're just trying to make CPS. Now all he's doing right now is vilifying his CPS. Oh, saying he's looking in our fridge and asking questions to our kids is interrogating them and snooping around. It's like, yeah, dude, you can be mad at this. You have every right to like be mad at this. Once again, I don't think it's productive to spend your entire content talking about this online, but whatever. Like, obviously, he's a very emotional person, and that those emotions come out as biases in his language and word choice.
Humiliate them in front of his peers, his teachers, the staff there, and needlessly stigmatize them. My young 3 and 5-year-old children, who are sweet and innocent as can be, have not yet been interrogated by a CPS agent, but that is due to happen on Wednesday. He also spoke to...
Like, does he think the guy's gonna just walk into their classroom and be in front of everyone? Does your dad beat you? Does your mom like not feed you anything? Do you get touched by your uncle or whatever? It's like, I don't know, man. Once again, you're just criticizing all CPS investigations at this point. It's not a great look, Ethan. And yeah, you have every right to be like, no, I want to be there when my kids are being talked to. I don't want you to talk to them at school. But a lot of people don't really have that luxury, and you're just criticizing CPS.
To our nanny, our housekeeper. He's called the pediatrician that takes care of the kids. He talked to them. Pretty much sifted through every angle of our life having to do with our kids in an extremely violating, insulting, unbelievable way. Just a complete breach of privacy and inhumanity that it's like you can't believe.
Yeah, I have nothing to add. I have nothing to add. Like, he's just describing a CPS investigator doing his job, and he's making it sound like the worst thing in the world, which, once again, it's like a scary thing to go through. But can you not villainize the investigator who apparently, like a few days ago, you said was a really nice guy, but apparently now he's like this G-man sent from the government to tear apart your life and like terrorize your wife and your children?
That you, as somebody who has done nothing wrong, has taken care of your kids, to be subject to this forcible investigation because of some fucking freaks online called anonymously to say that our kids are crawling around in shit.
That's a lie. There's no freaks online. The guy said, according to you yourself, the investigator said you know the person and the person worked for you, which is not true. But a few days ago, you said the person worked for you, and now you're saying that it's anonymous freaks online. So like multiple people called in to CPS. Does CPS do some kind of numbers game where if enough people call in with reports, then that's going to trigger an automatic investigation into you regardless of the evidence? It's like, no, that's not true. According to you, it was one person and they had enough evidence to warrant an investigator going out to your house.
The immediate question for me was, who did this and how am I going to hold them accountable? It didn't take me long to...
Bro, this is an insane mentality. It's an insane mentality to be like, who called a government service to make sure that children are okay out to my house to investigate to see if my children are okay? I'm going to find them and I'm going to punish them. That's an insane vindictive mentality. Like, once again, like there are literal confidential laws set up to protect people from the very thing that Ethan Klein is talking about. Like, he's literally advocating to violate laws that are set up to protect people from reporting these things.
Catch the trail of the obvious suspect, which is the work of a subreddit dedicated to harassing me, my family, my coworkers, and their families too, frankly, known as Snark. H3 Snark is the place that they originated. If you don't know what Snark is, it's this growing phenomenon of communities dead.
I mean, is this entire thing a schizo post saying that Snark called CPS on his family? Because that's, according to him, not true. Like, literally according to his words, that he said the investigator said, it's not true that H3 Snark called you. And your evidence is that someone in the Snark chat said, I'm a mandated reporter. If I saw this, I would call CPS. I would report it to CPS. That's your evidence, Ethan? One commenter said that I would do this if I was a mandated reporter, like working with your kids. It's not very good evidence.
Dedicated essentially to destroy someone's life, picking it apart, harassing them, and just trying to ruin their life. It's something that's become quite common on the internet, and something that Reddit, who is the main host of such activities, has completely turned a blind eye to. Take, for example, right here, H3 underscore.
All right. He made the claim that snark is meant to rip apart someone's life and ruin someone's life. I need evidence that the snark was trying to ruin Ethan's life.
Which is the new snark page. The top post on this page is from somebody named Bad Empanada, which we'll learn more about. It says, Bad Empanada with another banger. Quote, "You're the best parents I've ever seen," said house slave Abdullah Ayad to the Kleins after CPS visited them because their kids contracted parasites from dog feces. The Kleins frequently advocate for genocide of Arabs while Ayad sits obediently in silence. He is a tame domestic animal. This is just literally, anyone of a normal disposition can see plainly how fucking insane this is. It has 400 upvotes after 3 hours. It's a very active sub of absolutely deranged individuals. The problem is that this subreddit, this community is being legitimized by creators such as Hassan, such as Denims, such as Mike from PA, and all these leftist commentators who think they can get one up on me by sicking and participating and legitimizing the most crazed psychopaths on the internet.
I bring this to YouTube because I respect the H3 snark and I believe that they're being
I like how it's a post from Bad Empanada, and that's the evidence that snark is unhinged. That they're posting Bad Empanada like roasting Ethan and his crew.
silenced. And I saw on the H3 snark that Ethan had uploaded Instagram stories about Mika's rhetoric that says,
and it's about the H3 snark subreddit. For more than a year now, Ethan has been talking about it and saying how toxic this place is, how they promote harassment, doxing, stalking, and why it should be banned.
I believe these snark subreddits on Reddit should be banned. It's literally fostering the most psychopathic. It encourages harassment, doxing, stalking. It's just...
I guess it's fine as long as it's not the Destiny subreddit.
I think it's time to hold all of them accountable. Here, for example, is Denims, aka Hassan Waiting Room, watching Bad Empanada talk...
Okay. So Hassan watching a video of a guy talking about H3 snark, and then honestly, like, this is a completely cut out of context clip. Like, what the fuck is he even talking about? Okay, let's just run this back one more time.
Psychopaths on the internet.
I bring this to YouTube because I respect the H3 snark and I believe that they're being silenced. And I saw on the H3 snark that Ethan had uploaded Instagram stories about Mika's rhetoric that says,
and it's about the H3 snark subreddit. For more than a year now, Ethan has been talking about it and saying how toxic this place is, how they promote harassment, doxing, stalking, and why it should be banned.
I believe these snark subreddits on Reddit should be banned. It's literally fostering the most psychopathic. It encourages harassment, doxing, stalking. It's just...
I guess it's fine as long as it's not the Destiny subreddit.
I think it's time to hold all of them accountable. Here, for example, is Denims, aka Hassan Waiting Room, watching Bad Empanada talk about the state of our house and how we...
Right. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Hassan was trying to make the point that Ethan thinks the Destiny subreddit is fine. Once again, it sounds like he misspoke there, but I guess Ethan got his clip. Hassan supports the H3 snark. I mean, we know Hassan doesn't. But anyway, let's continue this. You know what? Fuck it. What was this video that Hassan just did? Ethan Klein, Hassan. Oh yeah, this one.
Yeah, I agree with this, by the way. I think it's ridiculous. It doesn't seem like a valid concern from someone. It feels like someone just like made this call and did it so that CPS would go and have to look into it and investigate it. Oh, Philly D showed your statements in a new video. Yeah, this is Ethan Klein says snark Redditors call CPS on his kids. We'll talk about that. Philip DeFranco put me in his video
this year that we've largely kind of stepped away from things that could be deemed drama in the community, or this snark subreddits, with the first one being dubbed H3 snark, though it looks like it's now moved over to a new page called H3 Productions. And for those that don't know, a snark page or subreddit is essentially devoted to criticizing or making fun of that topic, right? There are general snark pages for calling out influencers, ones about not liking certain...
Don't entertain this. Anything you say, and screenshot it and post it on the...
Ethan said that the idea that his kids eat feces, it's been taken out of context from a story that he told around a month ago. Right? And that, because he previously talked about how his dog had an infection that caused it to have...
Bonerbox was talking about how you install Reddit mods and a bunch of subs the other day. Bro, what? No. You're joking. Like, see, look, this person's just said, I filed another report at your command, sir. This person is obviously joking, okay? Is it a subject that... is not a laughing matter? I agree. I don't think it's a subject that's a laughing matter. But this person is not making fun of the subject itself, but rather how silly the claims are that I'm somehow involved in this. Now, you can take that and screenshot it and post it on the H3 Production subreddit, which has become a Hassan snark subreddit, ironically enough. And you can have, I don't know, maybe 1,000 upvotes talking about how Hassan's community is actually actively doing this, actively making fun of it, making light of a situation. This is how it works. This is why I also say, like, it's hard to get a full assessment of any kind of situation off of clips that you've seen of a podcast, you know? It's just why I'm saying, like, a lot of this gets lost in translation. A lot of the context gets lost.
Anyway, let's continue this. But I find it hilarious that Ethan's trying to say that Hassan supports snark subreddits in general, when he literally has always been against them. But here we go, Bad Empanada. Oh, and Ethan's favorite image of Bad Empanada too.
It's not the Destiny subreddit.
I think it's time to hold all of them accountable. Here, for example, is Denims, aka Hassan Waiting Room, watching Bad Empanada talk about the state of our house and how we take care.
This is Bad Empanada, bro. Ethan, I made a video that Ethan's racist. He straight up is. Why would you show this, bro? Like, you're literally trying to find the ugliest picture of Bad Empanada. And Bad Empanada himself has made the point. It's like, do you notice how Ethan always tries to, like, Islamify the people that he's villainizing? Like, he's finding a picture of Bad Empanada with a long, scraggly beard, has a weird expression on his face. His hair is unkempt. And then he's like, oh, just look at him. Just look at him. I don't even have to say anything else.
Of our kids. Let's take a look.
He lets his dogs shit all over his mansion, and he just leaves the shit on the floor, something that is probably related to the fact that his former housekeeper is suing him for a number of different reasons. So I would assume he doesn't actually have a housekeeper anymore, or perhaps he lost his extra housekeeper. So now the house is just, like, covered in dog shit. And he has kids, and his kids, like, crawl into the dog shit, and God forbid, I don't know what they do with it. I don't know if they eat it, or if it's just from, like, contact with it with their hands or something, but they contracted a parasite that I had previously never heard of in my life called Giardia from the dog shit that is all over his house.
Dude, how is it that, like, maybe once a week I look into what Ethan Klein's been up to, and every time I manage to find more and more terrible shit. This is where Ethan tells a story about his family getting Giardia.
We already have Mold Mondays. Now we have Shit Saturdays.
Also, this is not a joking matter, by the way. It can be very severe and deadly to small children. I mean, much like many other illnesses, it's very, very, very dangerous when infants get the same sicknesses that adults get. There are lots of things that you can get as an adult. You're totally fine. You'll be A-okay. No problem. A child, a small infant that has no immune system, shouldn't be catching anything.
Now, at this point, as he continues, notice the chat is almost in complete universal agreement. Call CPS. Call child endangerment. CPS, social services. Bro needs to unironically call CPS. That's child endangerment. Okay, if his kids have Giardia, they need to be taken away. Actual worst father ever, etc., etc. I'll let the chat play for you, but you can see just how crazed this community is. And once again, this is Denim's chat from the 1st. The call came on the 3rd.
No wonder his house is covered in dog shit, and his neglected children raised by nannies have contracted parasites previously unknown to science from the feces. I wonder why he skipped over all of this, because everything that I said in this story, which, by the way, was apparently compiled by his crew.
No wonder this motherfucker's always sick. Yeah, it all makes sense now.
By the way, these people can't keep their talking points straight. On one hand, it's we don't raise our kids and our house is just run by nannies and housekeepers. But on the other hand, we also keep our house so dirty that there's dog shit everywhere. I mean, what are the housekeepers and nannies doing?
It all makes sense now. It makes sense why he doesn't care about Palestinian children when he is neglecting his own. How are you?
How is that a good point, bro? How is that a good point? It's like saying that you don't raise your kids in your house is disgusting, and you refute that talking point by saying, no, don't worry. We have nannies that raise our kids, and we have housekeepers that clean up our disgusting house. That doesn't refute your point. Why would you say that? Like, dude, this should be enough, right? This should be enough. Saying, oh, someone called CPS, and look, Denims is talking about how dirty our house is, and her chat is saying that someone should call CPS. Thus, I'm going to blame her, right? It's like, this should be the entire thing. It's kind of weird that he, like, I don't know, what does he talk about here? This video is so fucking long.
How is this happening? How is it happening? How is this happening?
I have a 10-month-old, a 5-year-old, and a 3-year-old who are in school. Of course, I'm sick all the time. Once again, these childless people pretend that this is uncommon when, of course, anybody with any sense who's being honest. The thing is, these people are knowingly lying. They know that they're lying. It makes no sense what they're saying, but they do it anyway. Because, as you can see in the chat, and Denims endorses this clearly, as you can see, she's not moderating this at all. And it's pretty much 100% of the comments saying call CPS on them. Their kids should be taken away. That she wants. She believes that it's justified to break up our family. This disgusting fucking human being who's endorsed by Hassan and the entire left community on Twitch, who is protected and elevated by Twitch, is on her platform right now advocating for our children to be forcibly removed from us by Child Protective Services. Denims is such an evil person. She is not responsible enough to have.
Okay, give me the clip of Denims saying your kids need to be taken away from you. All right, bro, let's do it.
the platform. She should not be allowed to broadcast videos ever again. Now, you might wonder, what is it they're referring to? On the podcast, I was telling a story about we adopted a new dog about a month ago, and she was having diarrhea, which ended up being a extremely common
Did we
stomach
watch this
parasite
already?
that causes diarrhea. It's extremely common, and it's very easy to address. In fact, she's very clean, but the point I'm making, again, which all reasonable people understand, is that giardia can actually be spread just from a surface. So if her bum ends up on the floor, or she sheds some hair, or she sat on a toy, you know, it could be a number of different things. If Sonny's crawling around putting everything in his mouth, it seems like a pretty reasonable
All right,
suspect.
who cares? Who cares?
In the entire fucking world to come and waste their time because my son had a diarrhea. When in the city of Los Angeles, there are kids and families that absolutely need help from people like this, and this guy's wasting his fucking time coming to my house and doing an investigation on my kids because my 10-month-old baby had diarrhea. By the way, Bad Empanada was recently banned for 7 days for playing a video game in which you roleplay as Hamas on October 7th, and he went to a military compound in that game and said he was, quote, looking for secretaries to kill. He was looking for Hila, who was a secretary in the IDF, to murder her.
Bro, this is so fucking stupid. You're telling me Bad Empanada played a video game where he kills soldiers in the video game? And then he made a joke about finding a soldier and killing her? Okay, dude. Wow, Bad Empanada played a video game where he shoots people. He's spreading violence. This is like, what, 1990s style conservatism? Video games cause violence, guys. Video games cause violence.
In a game where you play Hamas. This is the type of person that is being elevated.
I'd like to pay tribute to Ethan Klein and the new Twitch TOS that declares Zionism. Zion is the slur. I'd like to pay tribute to him by playing the first and Alexa video game where you kill Zionist soldiers as a Palestinian resistance fighter. Anyways, are these Israelis? They're just standing there? I mean, is the Israeli army a bunch of Ethan Kleins? Like, they're all on a fucking Ozempic binge? They don't understand what's going on around them? They haven't noticed me? How do I win? What's my objective? I don't actually know. Where do they keep the secretaries? In here? I'm hunting for secretaries right now. Secretary Dot, on behalf of Ethan Klein, I give this game my seal of approval.
Here's Bad Empanada once again, who posted a story saying, I'm the one who called CPS on Ethan Klein. I want CPS to take his kids away because they are seriously in danger. This is, once again, Bad Empanada, who's being elevated by Hassan, Matt Lieb, Denims, and tons of creators, leftist creators, all over the internet.
Ladies and gentlemen, everyone else, please welcome Bad Empanada.
Bad Empanada's been going crazy at Ethan on the second channel. Well, yeah, because Ethan Klein is too afraid.
So Ethan Klein found the guy who called CPS,
Or
right?
talk to Bad Empanada or talk about Bad Empanada or watch any of his videos. So fucking milk that guy, dude. Hell yeah, Bad Empanada, go in.
Can we just like
This dude, Bad Empanada, I don't know if you guys know who that is. He's like actually psychotic, and he's been making a lot of hate videos about me and calling Hila a terrorist and baby killer and all.
Dude, every time Ethan Klein brings up Bad Empanada, I like him a little bit more. That's the truth. I didn't really have strong opinions on him, and every time he brings him up, I'm like,
Okay.
And this is just from
Okay.
fucking will
Okay.
on up.
We get it.
The and unfortunately, it is very difficult to get to and sue people in Argentina. So enjoy the community of Nazi refugees. You will fit right in there, my friend. But don't worry, guys. Denim says, even if this did happen, it's nothing to worry about because children actually don't remember anything. Isn't that fucking awesome? Look at this. It might be the dumbest, most pathetic thing I've ever heard in my life. Here's Denims.
On the floor. And then the part that, in my opinion, crossed the line was like, so I'm going to visit your kids at school and ask them questions. And I said,
Okay, so she says it's not bad for him to talk to her kids because kids don't remember anything. Is that what she says?
nah, yes, you are. No, you're not. When we're talking about being able to remember, being able to recall memories, it's like 4 is the cutoff. But even if you are forming any memories at 4, you're not going to be able to remember them past like 15. You have maybe 1 or 2 memories. Talking to a random stranger once isn't really memorable for a kid. There's a wide variation about the mean across methods, cohorts.
Oh my God, this is so dumb. Why are you looking up when memories form for a kid? Honestly, this is insane.
Average forming memory.
What is happening? Read out of your mouth that the average adult starts forming memories at 3.
Why is he covering this, bro? Once again, like, I don't understand what he's trying to do here. What are you trying, like, at this point, he's just making fun of people that are critical towards him. If you were trying to hold people accountable, you would say, oh, like, I guess you would have the clip of Denim saying, I want to break up his family, people should call CPS. But he doesn't have that clip, and all he has is Denim's reacting to what he said, and then people commenting, I would call CPS, people should call CPS, right? Does Denim say that at all? Does she say, oh, we need to call CPS?
That you will keep like at 5.
How exactly am I supposed to get through to a person and convince her wrong when she's
Right, that's the other thing. Like, even if they can't form memory, like, even if they can't form memories that they're going to remember in crystal clear detail, they can still be, like, babies can still be traumatized, and that can affect their development. So it's irrelevant. Like, once again, the only purpose of this video is to make fun of people that Ethan Klein doesn't like. And I guess to, like, play the victim, right?
literally disproving herself on her own stream and then ignoring what just came out of her mouth 5 seconds earlier. Her defense for sending the CPS to break up our family and to interrogate our 3- and 5-year-old is that, don't worry, kids don't remember stuff.
No, she never encouraged CPS to go after you. She literally never encouraged CPS to go after you and break up your family.
Which just also, besides being pathetically, sociopathically insane, not to care about the well-being of kids.
Okay.
Thing I could even imagine somebody to say about this, and it's just beyond being insanely dumb. It's just callous, pathetic.
You have other clips.
Well, really speaks for itself. It's the dumbest thing I think I've ever heard. Now, moving to Reddit, this whole theme of needing to call CPS on my kids is something that takes place on Reddit, originally from a subreddit called H3 snark. On this subreddit, they have doxed us, harassed our employees, our Teddy Fresh employees who are not even related to the show, gone after crew members' parents, my parents, basically in every conceivable way that you can be harassed, these people have done it. Actually, the subreddit was closed indeed, however, not by Reddit. According to Reddit, this subreddit is still fully open and operational and is committing breaking no rules. What actually happened is that somebody within their community started informing on them, and we have these screenshots, which I have not shown before, but I'll show them to you now. Here, one of the mods is talking about a person named Sturgeon, which is also a co-mod. And here they say, Adi explained to me that Sturgeon had made a fake post, the quote Ramadan post, and had become more and more unhinged. Here the mods are talking about another fellow moderator of theirs and actively covering up the fact that their mod faked a post on the H3 snark subreddit. What happened was this story got picked up that we were...
Bro, I'm sorry. I'm like glazing over. This is so fucking boring. So Reddit moderators are talking about a moderator that's no longer working with them on Discord, and Ethan has all of these like out of context posts. Holy shit.
Banning people wishing a happy Ramadan. We were removing the posts and banning them. And this whole narrative of me being Islamophobic started to form on their subreddit and getting picked up by shit tier content creators who don't give a fuck about anything. And we looked through our mod mail. We searched through it to see, well, this post, was it ever made? Because that's certainly not something we would ever do. And sure enough, there's zero record of it. It was completely fabricated. And when we said that it was completely fabricated, surprise, surprise, the person...
Wow, someone made up something and claimed you said it on the internet. I mean, my mind immediately goes to Ethan's boomer moment when he just like shakily holds up his camera or he holds up his phone to the camera and is like, "See, this is a real tweet," and he points at a bad empanada tweet that was photoshopped. What? Okay, someone made up something about you. You have. So let me get this straight. Your life has been completely ruined by multiple snark Reddits spread all across the internet, and you have one post made a year ago that was fabricated? Is that what you're going to be claiming? One post on the entirety of the internet was a lie about what you said. And what's your point? Okay, maybe he's cooking here. I'll let him cook a little bit.
Who posted it?
Maybe he's going somewhere.
And erased the thread and completely disappeared. Yet the rumor continued to...
Okay, so someone lied about you and then immediately deleted the lie. But I guess the rumor that you didn't say Happy Ramadan, or that you deleted a post saying you said Happy Ramadan, was spread online? Because that's not something I hear people talking about, except for Ethan.
On their subreddit. It was never moderated. In fact, it was completely covered up by the mod team of H3 snark. Here they are. Here's the mods doxing our office. Yes, this is actually a real screenshot. Hi, I know you're on break, so I'll just drop this info here in case you need it in the future. We found the H3 studio.
Like, just once I want Ethan to make a claim and then substantiate that claim. Well, just once I want him to say like, "Oh, Denims is encouraging CPS to break up our family," and then play a clip of Denims saying people should call CPS to take his kids away from him. Once I want him to say that the rumor of this unhinged person who made one fake tweet about us and then immediately deleted the fake tweet persisted on the Reddit, and those rumors were never taken down, and then show examples of people repeating that lie with it not being moderated out. I wanted to substantiate his claims.
Studio and Teddy Fresh actual address. On the right is H3, on the left is TF. Studio listing, here's the link. It's identical to the H3, here's their address. This is fucking insane. These are the moderators. This isn't even like the community members. These are the people running the fucking subreddit. These people are knowingly putting us and employees in danger by sharing this address with each other with malicious intent. So once I started discussing that we had an informant in the ranks that was sending me this kinds of stuff, surprise, surprise, the moderators deleted their accounts and voluntarily closed the subreddit. Fascinating. After H3 Snark closed down, all the users migrated to another subreddit, H3H3_productions. And if you can believe it, the H3H3_productions subreddit is actually even more insane because there's no active moderators. I encourage you guys just to hop on over to H3H3_productions and just look through it. Read the comments, look through the posts. You're not going to believe what you see there. And if you want to take a walk through memory lane, go over.
My fucking God. Bro, you're posting a video to a channel with 5.68 million subscribers. Do the work. Do the work. Show us the posts.
To H3 Snark 2 and see what the posts that are left up there and enjoy. Just to give you an idea about the CPS thing, here's an excerpt from the new Snark page, an exchange of great minds. All I know is that the more he's fucked with, the less he pushes Israeli propaganda. Therefore, I can only conclude that it is a good thing and that it must continue. The ethics of it mean absolutely nothing to me. A response? You summarized it pretty much. Now, this is all taking place on Reddit. Active brigading harassment to the actual...
Wow, 7 upvotes. And I love the nerve that he's like active brigading and harassment. First of all, that's not brigading. That's not harassment. That's simply not brigading and harassment. They're basically, they're like not going against brigading and harassment. They're being like, I have no issue with brigading and harassment. That itself is not brigading and harassment. And the nerve to talk about brigading and harassment when you have literally tried to get Hassan banned from Twitch and tried to get his livelihood taken away from him is just comical. Like, you cannot become more of a hypocrite than Ethan Klein is.
Point of trying to break up our family and call CPS. Has Reddit done anything? Despite us complaining, making noise, reaching out for the past 2 years about this snark community? Worse. I believe, and I will show you why, that Reddit is colluding with, protecting with the moderators of this snark community. I believe that there's admins that work inside of Reddit that are members of this community and actively protecting.
Bro, this is insane. He's like, this conspiracy goes all the way to the top. Okay. My God, what time is it? All right, let's listen to this.
I will show you my evidence. The first thing is that Ela works with a management company who has a connection to Reddit community managers. We first went through them, an official channel, to say, hey, this snark is out of control. They're harassing us all. They're definitely violating your site rules. Can you look into it? A day later, guess what? The snark page was permanently closed. Hooray, we said. That was awesome. All we needed was one person to take a look at it, and obviously it wasn't compliant with the rules. Well, 3 days later, the snark page was reinstated fully, and they made this post to celebrate. H3 mod announcement. We're back after a much needed break. We are just a group of volunteers and we appreciate your patience. Our relationship with Reddit is currently better than ever and we're in good communication with the admins. Now that to me stood out quite tremendously considering that our subreddit with 600,000 users, the second biggest podcast subreddit on the entire site behind Joe Rogan, has never had contact with admins. They have never reached out to us. But why is it that the admins are in constant contact with this small niche subreddit dedicated to harassing people, but we, one of the biggest subreddits on the website, have not heard a single word from them ever? When someone created a snark page dedicated to...
Maybe because no one's trying to get your subreddit taken down. Like, it's a Reddit with what, 60K people in it? Why wouldn't the administrators of Reddit reach out to the mods and be like, hey, if you want your Reddit to continue because people are trying to actively take it down, you need to change this, this, and that. Why would they not have contact when their Reddit is being threatened to be taken down? Why would a fucking administrator of Reddit reach out to you guys? Are you violating rules? Is someone trying to take your Reddit down, Ethan?
Hassan Piker, it was immediately deleted for harassment. Take a look. The subreddit was banned due to a violation of Reddit's content policy against harassing content. So it's harassing when it happens to Hassan Piker, but it's okay, great behavior when it happens to Ethan Klein. What's with the double standard? What about Trisha? Trishyland was a huge snark subreddit. It was super active.
Well, was it actually harassing him? I mean, bro, obviously the people in the snark Reddit like have to go through a lot of hoops for that to continue to exist. Like, yeah, the Reddit is very critical of these snark Reddits. If you aren't making sure that your content isn't violating Reddit's guidelines, then it's going to be deleted.
And these people were, really nasty. Trishy Land was also banned. The reason given is this subreddit has been banned for excessive copyright removals. Now that's specifically interesting and extremely suspect, considering we've performed dozens of copyright strikes on the Snark subreddit. We have removed dozens of posts. All the posts we removed had zero commentary or specifically stated that their intention was to steal and siphon views from our property. Besides being granted dozens of DMCA takedowns, Reddit has actually had the nerve to serve us counter notifications on these or to downright reject dozens and dozens of legitimate DMCA requests outright. Now, how the fuck does Trisha get her subreddit removed for copyright infringement? Meanwhile, when I try to do DMCA takedowns on the subreddit, they literally get denied by Reddit. It's my opinion that the stated reason of repeated copyright infringement is a total cover-up. Listen to Trisha in her own words describe how she got her Snark permanently banned from Reddit.
It's like one of the downsides about being online, I'm sure, and then when you become a mom, I'm curious about how you're seeing and feeling about, if you don't mind, you don't have to answer this, but like it's one thing for you to like insult me or like the work I've done or me leaning into nostalgia, but it's another thing that if you bring my kids into it, like I'm gonna throw hands.
Yeah,
and I'm gonna find your profile. I'm not just gonna block it.
Oh yeah, dude, I found him. I did a whole documentary on Reddit. I had a horrible snark Reddit that was like posting pictures of her doctor, like all this stuff like that, like just making fun of her, like showing where her future schools would be.
Motherfucker.
Yeah, so I did a whole documentary. I had a whole crew come out. It was like a month process, and I did this whole documentary. I like hired a private investigator.
So like you did a
found
troll hunter.
Yeah,
like,
1,000%. 1,000%. And ultimately, I don't even know if it'll come out because it worked. Now all my snark Reddit is taken down. The minute one is created, it gets taken down within 20 minutes.
They're like, yeah, we don't fuck with Trisha.
Yeah, I don't know. I called Reddit. I went on this like website to get everybody who worked at like Reddit. I like said this is.
I've done all of that and more over a longer period of time, 2 years, with escalating levels of harassment. Why was it that Trisha and Hassan's were taken down, but mine remains up? Why did Reddit list the reason as copyright infringement when the actual reason was harassment, as explained by Trisha? By the way, the DMCAs are written by my attorney. It's not even some like ragtag bullshit where I do it myself. My attorney writes it out, well-reasoned, well-sourced, and Reddit ignores it. How is that possible? This is one of my favorite examples. We made a subreddit called Snark to make fun of Snark subreddits in general. And the community was actually starting to pick up steam and become pretty active. Well, it was removed. Why was it removed? For harassment. But wait, it gets even better.
Bro, it's so funny. It's like Ethan's like, I'm trying to fight harassment with harassment. Okay, like, dude, I don't know why Trisha's Reddit was taken down, but once again, man, you have to actually provide evidence that you're being harassed to get these other Reddits closed, and you're simply not being harassed. Like, there's a difference between posting pictures of people's personal family doctors and their homes on a Reddit, like publicly on a Reddit, and posting clips of what you're talking about, and then posting comments about the clips. Like that's completely different, especially when the comments aren't illegal and aren't talking about let's do a targeted harassment campaign against them to try to get them at their homes.
A few days later, maybe a week later, it's back open. And the moderator now that owns the subreddit is a user named Shredder Cheese, which is a mod for H3 Snark. Shredder Cheese is a reference to a story they love to tell about how I killed my beloved dog Shredder by feeding him cheese. The mod for H3 Snark named Shredder Cheese is now the owner of Snark. How, Elas? I would also like to know how the fuck is that possible? What the fuck is going on? Of all the harassing posts on the new Snark, the reports are being denied. Now, let me show you an example of one of the posts, just one of many, that Reddit refused to remove. The title is, I'm calling CPS on Ethan again. It says, this time because his kids are around Zionists, which is a high predictor for baby murder. This is a post that is still up on the subreddit that was reported, and Reddit admins reviewed this and said, no, this is compliant. In closing, let's take a look at Reddit's #1 rule for using their site. #1 rule. Remember the human. Reddit is a place for creating community and belonging, not for attacking marginalized or vulnerable groups of people. Everyone has a right to use Reddit free of harassment, bullying, and threats of violence. Communities and users that incite violence or promote hate based on identity or vulnerability will be banned. This post does not violate rule #1, according to people that work at Reddit and have reviewed it manually. At first, I thought it was crazy. I was like, there's...
Okay, how does it violate it, Ethan? Tell us. It's not attacking you because you're not a human. It's obviously making a joke. Once again, it's not like encouraging people to call CPS. This is a Zionist talking point where if you're like criticizing Israel, people will say, oh, you are encouraging support of Hamas.
No way Reddit is actually colluding to protect them. But after 2 years passed and the shit just keeps piling up, there's literally no other conclusion that could explain this. In my content, Nuke, I explore the idea that Twitch has been ideologically captured. And the people in that company are using their terms of service selectively as a form of activism. They come down hard against people that they disagree with politically, and they ignore, protect, elevate the people that they do agree with politically. Something happened recently that's going to blow your mind. I started running reruns of...
So Twitch is run by anti-Palestinian Nazis then, right? Because Asmongold is the most viewed political content creator on Twitch. So they really like people that see Palestinians as subhuman and are Nazis. According to Ethan, that's what Twitch is run by.
content Nuke on my Twitch channel as a form of protest, being petty, honestly, and just wanting people on Twitch to see the video I made. Well, wouldn't you know it?
Okay, so that's wait. What was your evidence of Reddit that they got rid of other snarks that were like actually harassing people, and they didn't get rid of snark pages to you because they weren't harassing you? That's your argument that Reddit is run by admins that hate you? And now he's talking about Twitch.
The same day we launched it, our stream was closed for 30 days. We got a suspension for 30 days. That's pretty severe. What is it that we did wrong? Encouraging or glorifying extreme violence. So to get this straight, my video showing Hassan supporting terrorism got me a 30-day ban for encouraging and glorifying extreme violence. Hassan's footage of him doing it on their platform and actually encouraging terrorism, no punishment. How the fuck can you be this blatantly, pathetically obvious? They don't care. Nothing's changed. They don't care. They're spitting in our fucking face. They're flaunting it. They don't give a fuck. I got banned for 30 days for showing his content that he wasn't punished for. Make it make sense.
I mean, Hassan literally said that Twitch reached out to him and is like, you can't show that content again on your stream, and he hasn't. So like, this isn't a double standard, dude. Hassan showed content that Twitch is like, you can't show, and then Ethan showed that content.
And, you know, people go, oh, it's automated, it's probably a mistake. Well, fair enough, right? And that's why I appealed it. And within a few hours, I got the answer on the appeal. Your account was recently suspended for encouraging or glorifying extreme violence. And a member of our team has reviewed your appeal, and after taking a look into the details of your case, we have determined that your account will remain suspended due to your violation of our community guidelines.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Did he even put like the politics tag on his channel? But whatever. Honestly, like, this is completely irrelevant. I thought this whole thing was about Reddit promoting people calling. I thought this was about like Denims saying we should break up the Klein family.
I have never been so black-pilled in my life. I feel like I am trapped and that the world has gone fucking insane. This shit is bananas. What is happening? And I feel that I'm getting the same treatment now from Reddit. Now, I know they're both San Francisco-based tech companies, but did you know that these two companies in San Francisco, their headquarters are blocks away from each other?
What? Okay. What is this supposed to prove? Someone can walk from the Reddit CEO headquarters to the Twitch CEO headquarters in 16 minutes? Oh my god, this is getting cute.
Based tech companies. But did you know that these two companies in San Francisco, their headquarters are blocks away from each other? It's just interesting. It's just interesting because it shows there's some culture happening in this tech space. I think that these people are all very similar minded. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, dude, we should start treating the culture of San Francisco as something that really needs to be removed. It's a blight on American. We must remove the culture of San Francisco. This is great stuff from Ethan. The culture of these big cities it's too liberal. It's too liberal. They won't let me glorify violence on their platforms. We really need to start criticizing the culture of San Francisco. Holy shit, dude. I mean, this is indistinguishable from a conservative talking about the culture of libs. This is kind of dangerous rhetoric that we're getting into here. Oh, they're both in San Francisco and they're a 16-minute walk from each other. It's something going on in the culture over there that we really need to take a critical look at.
It shows there's some culture happening in this tech space. I think that these people are all very similar minded. I think that's what this is telling me. Because you got to fit in. If you're going to work at one of these tech companies, you got to fall in line. You know what I mean? You got to be one of the good guys. Actually, I found out that our stream got suspended for 30 days live on the podcast.
Is this your account? Oh, your account is currently suspended. To view more information about your enforcement, file an appeal. Okay.
Oh my God! It got banned for encouraging or glorifying extreme violence.
Whoa.
That's Hassan's content that's on your platform that he didn't get in trouble for. Holy fuck.
How long is the ban?
It should be only a day ban, right? In theory.
In theory, it should be no ban because it's his content.
Guys, I got a 30-day ban.
30 days?
30 day, and I didn't even say 30-day ban.
Didn't he get unbanned the next day?
I mean, it was worth it to do this just for this. I'm surprised that they're this pathetic.
Yeah, because I genuinely am too.
That's a manual ban too.
There is clearly a Hamas tunnel connecting them. Oh my god, advisory. I didn't say it. That was a chatter. But god damn it.
Now, after our appeal was denied, the story started to go viral for its blatant, obvious, laughably absurd hypocrisy, at which point they panicked and unbanned our stream with an apology. We're so sorry for the inconvenience. We made the wrong decision. Well, somebody made the wrong decision manually twice. You want to fucking explain that shit?
I think it's so cute that Ethan's like getting triggered by not getting any kind of special preferential treatment from these big companies that aren't YouTube. oh, well, like YouTube always gives me preferential treatment. I actually have a guy at YouTube that will proofread my videos for me to make sure there's nothing wrong with them. And yet when I upload your video, I get copyright content because of a fucking song you play. And it also gets taken down for minimizing the Holocaust. And the evidence that the timestamp that it shows of me minimizing the Holocaust is Ethan saying that it minimizes the Holocaust. So it literally gets taken down for hate speech because of what you said, and it gets copyright claimed because of music that you put in. So obviously you're getting special preferential treatment from YouTube, and then when you don't get that same kind of treatment from Reddit and Twitch, he pisses his pants, man. Like, no content creator has not experienced this, where you upload something and then it gets taken down and you try to repeal it, and even though you're completely in the right, the repeal, the apparently human repealer, will say, oh, we manually reviewed your video and we found that it still violates our guidelines. That's completely bullshit. When I requested a repeal for my reaction to Ethan's content nuke, my repeal was denied in 5 minutes. I clicked, please repeal this, like please review this. 5 minutes later, I got an email and it's like, we reviewed it, your content is still taken down. Same exact thing happens to Ethan, and then he makes a big fuss over it, and then he gets that preferential treatment that he's used to. But when he's just treated like everyone else, he cannot handle it, man. He really is a man-child.
So here we are, where it's acceptable to call child protective services on people as an act of political protest on a website.
What the fuck are you talking about, dude? Who once again, you didn't come up with a single post of people encouraging other people to call CPS on you. Like Bad Empanada said, I called CPS on it, and I'm gonna call him again. Those are clearly jokes. That one person who's like, I called CPS on Ethan Klein because he's a Zionist and babies are in danger around Zionists. That's also clearly a joke. You said it's Denims. He erroneously said Denims is calling for his family to be dismantled and taken apart by the government. That never happened. That's clearly a lie. He has nothing.
Reddit, in which they do not care, they protect it, they enable it. I have a meeting with CPS on Wednesday where they're going to talk to my fucking children. Twitch is banning us for showing Hassan promoting terrorism. Ban me for 30 days, no punishment for him. What the fuck is going on? As I prepare to meet CPS agents to talk to our children, I wonder...
He literally got called out by Twitch to stop showing that content.
At what point has this gone too far? And how much worse can it get before something is done about it?
Oh, that's the end of the video? Oh, that video sucked.
All right, guys, so it's safe to...
Anyway, guys, I'm going to call it there. I'll probably... I might stream later tonight to, like, go over the last... Oh, that Bad Empanada post was fake? I don't even give a fuck. But I might go over, like, the latest episode of the podcast tonight. And we also need to talk about Mahmoud Khalil and how Palestinian, like, anti-Israel protesters are now straight up being blackbagged and arrested by the Trump administration, which is... just insane. I mean, I'm kind of curious to see if Ethan Klein's going to be talking about that shit. I doubt it, but thanks for tuning in. I just wanted to go over that like latest H3 podcast or productions video, whatever. I mean, dude, he has nothing. And at the end of the day, he's never going to have anything on this. He just needs to let the investigation play out. And when you're dealing with something real like CPS investigating you for child abuse, no amount of whining on the internet is going to change that. Like, you kind of just have to let things play out in the system. So Ethan's not used to not having preferential treatment, and yeah, that's kind of where we're going to leave it. So anyway, guys, I'll see you later. See ya.